Yes, welcome to Tool Time. Jay Milne in the process of fixing his mic stand.
I got it.
What's the guy's name? Tim Allen? What was the name of the show? Home Improvement?
Tim Allen, yeah, man.
Tim Allen, but the character, he
Tim
was the actor.
Toolman.
Tim the Toolman was his show.
Yeah.
And I can't remember his character's name on the show. It was Tim somebody. Was it Tim Allen? I don't know. But the show he had was Tool Time.
Tim the Toolman Taylor. Tim Taylor.
And what was his neighbor's name that you never saw? Was it Wilson?
Wilson and then Al Borland.
Borland.
It was Borland Equipment or Borland
That
Tools.
was his assistant on the show,
Al.
right? That was his buddy.
Yes.
And was Wilson his neighbor?
Yes.
You never saw all of his face. He was always behind the fence.
Correct.
Anyway, I wasn't planning on talking about this, but you were doing some not home repairs, not even repairs. Nothing was broken. Some office adjustments just as the show was starting.
Yes.
And I thought to myself, I wonder if the show is actually going to start. And then the Coupe started the show, and now we're off and running. Oh, hey, everybody. What's going on? Thanks for checking out the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. Of course, you are invited to participate in the program by texting the EST inbox at 780-218-9999. You can also jump into the nasty chat on YouTube. We will be talking extensively, of course, about your local hockey team, the Edmonton Oilers, today. We'll be touching a little bit on some university athletics as well, as there were some significant results for U of A teams over the weekend. Some good, some incredibly bad, unfortunately. And, we'll dive into some NFL and meander a little bit as we go along. But a lot of Oilers stuff. If you are on YouTube, please, I implore you,
Let's try set a personal record.
as you look up the word implore, I implore you, hit the thumbs up on YouTube. If we get to 100, we will get a bag of chocolate chips from Dustin Nielsen. I think he's going to give us the ingredients throughout the week to bake chocolate chip cookies. So he'll give us some butter tomorrow, and then some sugar, and then some flour. And then we'll bake the cookies on Friday.
I'm down with that. You need some vanilla.
Al Borland.
Al Borland.
What was the actor's name on Tool Time, on Home Improvement, that played Al Borland? I don't know. Was he ever in anything else?
Richard something.
Okay.
Richard.
You can say anything, and I would agree with it.
Shoot, Richard. They'll get it.
Somebody. That's the great thing when you host a talk show that has a loyal couple dozen listeners. They will participate.
Everybody's grunting now because that's what Tim the Toolman Taylor did.
Oh, right. He always did that Neanderthal type noise when he. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I forgot about that.
Richard Karn. Richard
Karn. And then
Thank
didn't
you,
Tim Allen?
Steinbeck.
Did he not go to? Was he in prison before he became a famous comedian?
Tim Allen?
Yeah, he was in prison, I'm pretty sure. Luke Gazdic is listening to the show and knows the actor's name. That's incredible. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you.
You beautiful man, you. I think Richard Karn could play Luke Gazdic in a movie. Well, maybe no. In his prime, he could have.
No way.
In his prime, he could have. No, who would play Luke?
Who would play Luke in a... Now, what are we talking? Television sitcom? Or are we talking blockbuster feature film?
Blockbuster feature. Glenn Powell, maybe? Glenn Powell's kind of the handsome, jockish guy. By the way, we're going to talk more about this later. I watched Top Gun Maverick, everybody. I watched Top Gun Maverick Friday night. You didn't even react. You don't even care.
Reid, you didn't give me time to react. I just want a full breakdown.
I'll talk about it later. It was good. I liked it.
Hang on. Are you going to have to talk about it later in Reid's top 3?
Yes, I'm going to make it the top. Yes! Part of the top 3. It's not in the top 3, but it inspired the top 3.
That's BS.
He hosted Family Feud, according to Gazdic.
Yeah,
Pamela Anderson was on Tool Time.
Yes, she was. She was the Binford Tool lady or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, Binford
Was that
Tools.
before or after she appeared in a certain publication? Must have been after. Would have to been after, wouldn't it?
What publication?
Playboy.
Never heard of it.
A lot of kids are like, what's that?
Yeah.
What's a magazine? What's a publication? When was the here's a question for this isn't the off-topic topic. When was the last time you held a magazine? I can't even remember the last time I held a magazine, like an actual magazine.
We get a magazine as part of our mail, which is the Strathcona County magazine. It's like Neighbors or something like that. So quite often. Last time I've purchased a magazine, I can't tell you.
I might have bought one at an airport like 8 years ago.
Yeah, and it was probably.
I think I bought a Sports Illustrated just for nostalgia, and then I never read it.
I used to have a subscription to Sports Illustrated.
Yeah, so did I. It was like one of the biggest. It's funny. On Friday, we were talking about what did you like to do after school on a Friday. One of my favorite things to do after school any day, because the mail would be at home, or mom and dad would bring home the mail. When there was a Sports Illustrated, oh,
what a day!
What a joy! Like you got to remember, I think I started getting it. Well, my parents got me the subscription. Probably, I think 87. Because I remember, I think in the spring of '87, because then the Oilers won the Cup in June, and they had a cover. The Oilers had a cover, and just and I know I talk about this, but this certain generation will remember it. When you're in a rural area, you have 2 channels. You don't get to watch NFL or NBA or college sports. Like having that window into those worlds, and some of the writing was just. I mean, Rick Riley, Rick Telander. I'm forgetting the guy's name. I've interviewed him several times. Perlman, Jeff Perlman, Steve Russian, like guys like that. Jack McCallum writing the NBA. Peter King writing football.
Peter King was really good.
Who was a Zimmerman?
Who was the
Paul
baseball
Zimmerman,
guy?
Dr. Z writing NFL.
Who's the baseball guy?
Well, they had a few over the years, but yeah, I mean, it was such a window into another world like that. Getting that Sports Illustrated, and it was like a buffet with all your favorite foods. Looking at the table of contents, which article am I going to read first? What page am I going to turn to first? Yeah, like the Big Uke had a hockey news subscription. Penner's Pancakes, ha, you pervert. No, but yeah. Wow, I'm getting all nostalgic now. I didn't realize we'd be talking about this. I'm almost tearing up.
Who's this guy?
Who's Taylor Kitsch?
Chris Evans could play Luke Gazdic.
Not tall enough.
Doesn't matter. It's Hollywood.
I'd sooner have Hemsworth playing Gazdic if I'm going to go with an Avenger.
Chris Evans looks way more like him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Who's Taylor Kitsch?
Who's Taylor Kitsch?
That's, I think, who Luke wants playing himself.
Oh, let's Google it. Taylor.
Luke was in a show about Boreas Salming. He played Dave Schultz. We talked about that a couple years ago. Tom Cruise could play Gazdic. Cruise probably could still play a 25-year-old hockey player.
Taylor Kitsch, is that the guy? Was he in? Are you on like live texting Luke right now? Was Taylor Kitsch the guy in Varsity, like Friday Night Lights, the TV show?
I don't know.
I think he was. Yeah, John Carter. Yeah, I could see it. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I could see that. Sure.
Not bad.
Yeah.
All right, there we go.
Yeah. So when was the last time you held a magazine? I probably. Well, I mean, you get the little magazines you might get for free but those aren't like full-size magazines, at a checkout of a store like that. Tim Riggins. Who's Tim Riggins?
Tim Riggins is...
Oh, that's the guy from Friday Varsity Lights.
Taylor Kitsch was in... Yes, that's right. Taylor Kitsch was in John Carter, though. I thought...
That big flop of a movie. That one flopped. Luke's movie wouldn't flock.
Luke's movie would be number one.
I would flock to see the movie, so it wouldn't flop.
This is quite a build-up to our first guest.
This is quite a build-up. Well, it's quite a build-up to this show. The Oilers lost again on the weekend. When was that? Saturday afternoon. 4-1 against the Dallas Stars. We will dive into that. We will dive into a couple of the problems that are plaguing. Like, oddly enough, they don't score a lot. They have 2 goals for in 6 games. 2 goals for per game, which is not very good, especially given the offensive history of this team and the firepower that they should have. The power play is 1 for 15, which, again, I continue to not be concerned about it. Now, I want to clarify, it doesn't mean I wouldn't tweak things or work on it. It just means I'm not concerned about it because it will be productive.
I wish you had numbers to back up that statement.
I do, and I will have them later. It will be productive. Will it lead the league? I don't know. Will it be 30%? I don't know. I hope so. They're in a bit of a hole here. But as I said last week, of all the things I could choose to be worried about with the Edmonton Oilers, the power play is way, way down on the list. Now, I get it. They're not shooting enough. They look out of sync. They're not finishing. Yes, everybody, I get it. But these are the same little bumps they've had at times in previous seasons. And in every situation, they figure it out. I'll just throw this out there to begin with. And I do have more detailed stats and other things I want to say about it a little bit later on. I want you to think of it this way. The Oilers have played 7.3% of their games, okay? In the National Football League, there was a quarterback who was really, really good for a long time, okay? He played a 16-game season most of his career. One game out of 16 is 6.25%. So let me ask you this, everybody. If Tom Brady would have had a craptacular first game of the season when he was 28, 29, 30 years old, would have you been telling me it's over for Tom? That's why I refuse to believe it's over for the Oilers power play. They're never going to be good again. It's silly if you look at it that way. It will get better. It will be productive. I really think it's one of the least things to be concerned about. For me, if somebody is concerned about it, I can't tell them not to be concerned about the Oilers power play. But when you say, do I like the fact they've only scored one goal? Well, of course not. Has the fact they've only scored one power play goal cost them at least one win along the way? Yeah, probably. Yeah, I can't deny that, because if there were games, maybe if the power play gave them the lead or whatever, maybe they win those games. But big picture, like if you're telling me you're concerned about the Oilers power play, like big picture, then I take that to mean that you're concerned that it's going to be a primary weakness on the team that could prevent them from excelling or maybe even making the playoffs this season. And I don't believe that. I don't believe they're going to go at a 1 for 15 clip the entire season. And I don't think people are saying that, because that would be, quite frankly, absurd to say that, because no power play goes 7% the entire year. But I will give some more stats, because I don't just like to come on and say, no, it'll be fine. I try to explain to people why I think it's going to be fine. And we're going to do that crunching the numbers in about 25 or 26 minutes. Is that fair?
That's fair. It's just the shock to the system. Coming off of a season that, obviously they went to the Stanley Cup Finals. Looked pretty good then. Penalty kill looked really good then. It's a bit of a shock to the system. That's all.
Yeah.
It's alarming. But I know you're going to walk everybody off that ledge, Reid.
Well, I don't know if I will or not. And quite frankly, if I do or not, doesn't matter to me. Because if you are, I can't tell you how to feel. I always say I can only tell you how I feel, and I can only try to back up my thoughts with as many facts or relevant facts that I can provide. But I mean, if someone thinks the Oilers power play will never be good again with this group of players, I probably won't change your mind. But I can try to tell you why I think it's going to probably still be a strength on the team. Now, there are other things we can discuss, for sure, that maybe have small alarm bells ringing in my head. Absolutely.
Wait, is this the same team that went, 2-9-1?
Same franchise. It's not exactly the same team, Jay.
I'm
it's
just
not
saying.
Exactly the same players.
I'm just saying. Is it, and did they end up going to the Stanley Cup Final?
Yeah. But again, we don't know what's going to happen.
No, I know.
We really don't know.
It's, maybe just deep breath. Controlled breathing.
That does help, actually.
It does.
I actually would recommend, if you're sitting there on a Monday afternoon at 3:16 and your heart is racing, you're actually having anxiety or stress about the Oilers season, I would advise taking a deep breath. Maybe read a magazine, maybe get your mind off it. Maybe find a way to ease your fears a little bit. Phyllis says, look at Nashville, brought in a bunch of top players, doesn't always equate to success. Chemistry has to develop. Nashville's 0-5. That's fair. Schmitty the Welder, stop talking about last year. It means absolutely nothing. Yeah, I would agree with that. But, I mean, look, Schmitty, it's like it or not, it's going to be part of the story of this team. If they start poorly, really poorly 2 years in a row. I get it. They started bad and they went to the Stanley Cup Final. They did. That doesn't mean it's going to happen last year. I just think, Smitty, when we talk about sports or when we talk about anything, it's human nature to look for patterns and trends. Now, then it's up to you as an individual human being to decide whether or not that's a relevant pattern or trend. I would say starting the season poorly does not equal playoff success. I think last year the Oilers were just a very good team that had a really, really bad start. If they'd started 9-2-1 last year, they'd probably still do just as well in the playoffs. So I get it, Smitty, but I mean that the context of that is going to come up. So I'm sorry you don't want to hear about it, but there are times it's going to be mentioned. So Jay and I were sitting in the bullpen, and Jay started. What did you do? Why did you say Kokomo to begin with? You said something. You know where I want to be. You didn't start singing the song straight away, did you?
Well, it had to do with your off-topic topic. That's it. You said...
Was I still thinking of it?
No, you said, what about songs that...
No. You said it first. Because then I said, there's the off-topic topic, didn't I?
I don't remember it that
Okay,
way.
Anyway.
But, I mean, Kokomo
we don't even
is
remember
always
what
on
happened an hour ago.
Kokomo is always on my mind.
So, yes. And then I brought up, have you ever gone there? And Jay said, no, I would like to. And I said, this is how I remember it. Anyway, that's the off-topic topic presented by William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading graphics with design, print, and install, all in-house for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best can be is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. People tend to like musical topics too. Which song, whether it was the name of the song or a location that was mentioned in a song, made you want to travel somewhere? Or maybe you did actually travel to that place. You heard about... You heard Kokomo by the Beach Boys, and you was like, I wonder, and you went, or you want to go there.
I'd love to go to Kokomo.
Or Caribbean Queen by Billy Ocean made you want to go to the Caribbean, and you did, and you met your queen there. Whatever. So a song that inspired you to travel or want to travel is our off-topic topic. Whether the title of a song, a line in a song, how a song made you feel, whatever.
What about you, Reid?
Oh, I'm too much of a curmudgeon to have those sorts of emotions. That would involve the ability to experience joy, which I do not have.
I mean, the Kokomo, Aruba, Jamaica, Bermuda, Bahamas. I mean, come on.
It's a catchy tune, eh? And they're just listing on. It's
they're
not
just
even
saying names.
Yeah, they didn't even write lyrics. They're like, what if we just listed a bunch of towns?
To Bermuda.
What if we just listed a bunch of resorts? There's the song.
So Kokomo is actually not a place.
It's a state of mind.
I think it is. We could probably all use some Kokomo right now. Casa Marina, Key West, in fact. It's a private beach called Kokomo Beach.
Oh, nice.
So the Beach Boys must have went there, had a great party, and then written a song about it.
That's incredible.
Maybe they got free drinks at the bar at Kokomo Beach for the rest of their life.
I spilled my coffee. Yes, Highway to Hell counts. And Smitty the Welder. Yes, relating last year's power play to this year is relevant because it's the same players, and it's been excellent for several years. And I'm sorry you don't see that connection, but it's quite obvious. All right, Luke Gazdic is coming up. We got a sports update for Sit and Sleep.
Forward Sam O'Reilly has signed a 3-year entry-level deal with the Edmonton Oilers, and in the early going of the season, O'Reilly has 5 points in 7 games with the London Knights. It's Maple Leafs and Lightning tonight in the lone NHL game, with the Oilers back in action tomorrow. Over in the NFL, it's now confirmed that Brandon Ayuk will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL and MCL. The 49ers receiver was injured yesterday after falling awkwardly while being tackled during his attempt to make a 15-yard reception in the game against the Chiefs. Seahawks receiver DK Metcalf suffered a grade 1 MCL sprain during yesterday's game in Atlanta and will be out week to week. Gene Daniels is now week to week as well with a rib injury, and the injury isn't considered to be serious, but Daniels is questionable to start for the Commanders in their upcoming game against the Chicago Bears. It's a Monday night doubleheader with the Ravens kicking off against the Bucs and the Chargers meeting the Cardinals, where Lieutenant Eric will be hanging out at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for both of those games. Ravens-Bucs kickoff is at 6:15. In the MLB, the Blue Jays have hired David Popkins as their new hitting coach, and Popkins spent the last 3 years with the Minnesota Twins and will be entering his 4th season coaching in the big leagues. This sports update has been brought to you by Sit and Sleep. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payments for 18 months interest-free. Sit and Sleep. Find them beside Planet Fitness in South Edmonton Common or check them out online at sitandsleep.ca. Just after the break, Luke Gazdic joins Reid Wilkins and Jay Milne. I'm Zachary Kubish for your Sports Update.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Fuge Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at fugesausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Fuge Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
All right, thanks a lot for tuning in today. Oilers Hurricanes tomorrow. So we'll have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom and Hernan starting at 6 o'clock. Then they will be on after the game with the postgame show. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button. He joins us every second week here on the Reid Wilkins Show. On the other weeks, you get him in the morning on the Nielsen Show with Sportsnet former Oiler. My good friend Luke Gazdic is checking in. Luke, you're on with Reid and Jay. How are you doing?
You guys gonna make me wait forever or what?
Well, you were listening since 3 o'clock. That's incredible.
I'm always listening, Reid. Ears are always open, buddy.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad you're a fan and a supporter. So which actor do you want playing you? Taylor Kitsch? Who is the other guy?
I've just been told.
Oh,
Taylor Kitsch is a fairly popular answer, I'd say, and yet Jay got it. He's the guy, made famous from Friday Night Lights. Tim Riggins. Milne, not a good one too, though. Was it Chris Evans? Yeah, that's not bad.
I see it. I mean,
it's a good-looking dude.
Who wouldn't take either of these two guys?
True.
Nobody. Yeah. I'll put it this way: nobody's comparing me to Taylor Kitsch or Chris Evans. So just
as long as it's not Al, as long as it's not Harn, that Al Borland's guy, he's not playing me.
No, he's probably in his 60s by now. So yeah, maybe you could do like a future Luke Gazdic, like how they did Old Man Logan. in Marvel. They could do Old Man Gazdic. Okay,
I did do a pretty mean Dave Schultz though. You gave me the tip for that one though. That was great. If anyone hasn't seen the Borje 6-part docuseries on Crave, episode 3, the end of it, I fight Borje. It's my only scene. I no speaking lines, just like a 30-second scrap. But,
they really made. Didn't you have a big afro or something for that?
No, that was the funniest part is I walked into I'd never been on a movie set before. And I walked into the hair and makeup truck and they looked at me and looked at the Schultz picture. They're like, we don't have to do anything here. Let's just give him some handlebar mustache. Just give me the handlebar mustache and we'll go from there. So they curled my hair up a little bit, but it was cool being on a set and stuff too. It was like, I don't know. It was a really cool experience.
Did it make you want to do something else?
I'm not going to lie. It led to other opportunities. Dang, I don't know if I should or could say this, but I had to turn something down that I really wanted to do. It just scheduling conflict. It was, I'll just say it. It was Shoresy. I don't know how many Shoresy fans are out in Alberta, but there was a perfect role in Shoresy in season 3, and I had to turn it down just because of, too much TV and scheduling. But I don't know. It was cool. I wouldn't mind going down that route at some point. I'm not a great actor, but I can throw punches on screen.
You'd be a stuntman or something. I don't know. Well, you're doing a very good job at what you're doing. I want to ask you something here, and the reason I thought about this is some of the Oilers digital crew, the Oilers Plus, the reporters and the behind the scenes people, when they're traveling, they'll post. I mean, they're, hey, we went for dinner here. Look, we're in Dallas. Look, we're in Nashville. I know the players wouldn't do that because they usually wouldn't want their whereabouts known too much. But I was talking to Jamie and Paige from Oilers Plus about somewhere they ate Saturday in Dallas, which was pretty fun. And then I thought, I wonder, like, when the players go out, is it always like it's expected, okay, if there's 23 guys on the roster, Oilers have 21, everybody goes together, like a couple guys pick, or is it okay to do your own thing? Like, what's that dynamic like for eating together on road trips?
Man, I'm almost laughing just because these were some of the best memories and moments of my career is getting to eat with 7 or 8 of my teammates the night before a game. Like, just that first and foremost to me is like when people ask, what do you miss? Like, it's stuff like that. I found it, I don't want to make this sound bad to anybody, but it's kind of cliquey. Like the team kind of splits into groups. I would say that there's maybe 4 or 5 large groups. Like when I look back on it, my first 2 years in Edmonton, we had a crew and it was probably 8 of us. It was me, Nuge, Justin Schultz, Taylor Hall, Jordan Eberle, who else is it? Anton Lander. And we went everywhere together. So like whenever let's say we flew into, Phoenix, who's not there anymore. I just thought there was a steakhouse there that we always really liked going to. There was usually a spot in every city. It was either Italian, who if guys wanted pasta, or if it was either a big steak. And I always thought the best dinners were when groups combined it and we had a bunch of guys there at the table. But I will say that these meals are rarely paid for with individual bills. They're usually paid for by one person, and it's usually decided in a hat by the waiter or waitress pulling credit cards. So those can be some stressful dinners too, especially when we get to double digits and the bill is getting up there. I will say, I'm going to give someone a nice shoulder tap right now. Nuge was always good. I remember once in Phoenix, I lost a bill for a large amount of money. And as it came around to me, he took the bill and put his card in there for me. So the guys were always good about that, man. I take care of them on the ice and they took care of me off it.
Luke, I gotta dig a little deeper into this because it's just, we're peeling that curtain back a bit. And I gotta ask, so let's say you had the bill in Phoenix and it was are you absolved from the rest of that road trip of having to pay for the meal? Or is it every time, boys, I don't care if you paid the last 2 nights, your card's in there?
Oh no, you're paying. It don't matter. So funny you asked that because we had a pregame meal on game days in Edmonton. We always went to this place called Allegro after morning skate. It was in the middle of the downtown basically. And when you talk numbers, we had probably 15 to 20 guys. This is before we had meals at the rink and private chefs and all this stuff. So we went to Allegro, and it was basically they just put a bunch of food on the table. It was the best. We'd sit there for an hour, and I said Family Feud because that's all we watched. We had Family Feud on one small TV, and Nuge loved it. He refused to change it. But we had a rule that you couldn't lose more than 2 in a row. So on your third one, then you were absolved. But because you watch guys over and over, and you know what? We invite players that would never come, and they'd come for the first time in like 2 months and end up, paying a $400 or $500 bill for everybody. But honestly, those were the funnest memories for me, telling stories it's the way I explain it is it's the last, well, for me at least, and I think a number of guys, it was the last time you had on game day where there was zero stress. There was nothing. Once that was done, I'm not saying you turned into game mode after that, but you were going home to catch your little nap. And once you woke up, it's game time. So that was the last hour of the day where everyone is just sitting back, and it's great stuff.
Okay, of course we're going to talk about the team, but I got to ask you one more about this.
No, this is better. This is great. We got a long year to talk about the team.
That's true. Because Jay and I were wondering this in the bullpen before we came on. So in the off season, Draisaitl gets the massive contract extension. I know that he doesn't get that money till next year, but would there ever be, if a guy has a new contract or just got a deal or got a significant raise, that would be like, hey guys, I'll the first road trip's on me because I got to recognize, I'm lucky here, going to share the wealth a little bit. I'll just take it on myself to pay for the first meal.
Oh yeah. And I was the instigator at that, it too. It was for anybody. So this is funny. I was telling BX about this on Saturday because we were watching Rico, Adam Henrique, and he signed his deal in the summer one year, but with Anaheim, and it was a 5x5. And so we had a group of, 20, 30 guys training here in the summer. And I was like, Rico, where are we going tonight? You got to be good, right? You got to take all your teammates out here. And during the year, it was the same way. If anyone signs a ticket during the year, where are we going? Nice dinner on the road. And it was, it was always on the road. And I understand it sounds a certain way. You're not going on the road just to, let loose. It's just the only time when everyone is able to be together in one sitting. Right. So that's usually what the classier guys do is, they'll book out a room at a restaurant and take the team out for a nice meal, including training staff and athletic trainers and all that. Those are the best.
But you guys could go to Allegro and not be bothered by fans during lunch, or nobody caught on?
I mean, they had a private room to the side. So we had to, 10 or 15 of us had to walk through the restaurant. And there always was occasionally, right? A table wants to stop you and talk to you, maybe take a picture, introduce you, whatever it is. And guys were always really good about that. I feel like the people that were there at Allegro too were always super respectful. That's what I did love about E-Town, Edmonton, is that, freaking Oilers fans are crazy, but in the best way. They kind of respected your space and let you do your own thing and knew you were just kind of there to get a meal and get out of there.
Unless you're McDavid buying beer after the Western Conference final, though I do hope that was a
oh yeah, true.
minority. A rare circumstance. Luke Gazdic joining us on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. Okay, we got you for a couple more minutes. So, look, they're 2-4. I do think the last 3 games were much better than the first 3. But obviously, the record itself and some of the special teams and some other little issues do have a lot of people chatting, which we'll get to throughout the course of my show today. But, where are you at now seeing them through half a dozen games?
Man, I'm still saying no concern. It's still so early. And that's what I keep talking about is, we're talking a lot of hockey, and on TV we do tons of prep, and people are always looking for answers. Why? What is with this start, and what is your concern level? But for a team like the Oilers, I have nothing. The only thing is special teams. But listening to you guys before I got on, you said it pretty well. It's especially things like the power play. If you have a personnel like that, and you have a certain way about how you go about those power plays and run it, you're going to have success eventually. And it's a huge part of their game. The penalty kill may be a little more concerning just because you did lose a couple guys, Fogues was a great killer. Clouder was a great killer. Like, you take two of those top guys out of there, but penalty killing comes with time and reps. And I think that is something that you'll see improve as the season goes on. As soon as Koff and Mark Stewart get their hands on some of these D and get to work with them day in, day out, before and after practice, that's when you'll see these guys really kind of take off in the second quarter of the year. Let these good coaches that they have kind of instill some of these things and let these guys get some reps in, and you'll see plays start to turn over. Concern for me, non-existent.
Wow, that's pretty blunt. Non-existent. You're going to make some of our more negative listeners quite upset.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just, you always got to find something, right? Like, we got to be concerned about something, but I just think it's just too early right now to have any sort of panic, especially, like I said, when you have the personnel. Like, Zach Hyman hasn't scored a goal yet. Like, you think it's probably going to change. So it's just time and reps.
Luke, does any of that creep into the mind of this, especially this high-powered top line that, is supposed to drive this team and hasn't been performing as well as they would like? I mean, go back to Dallas game there. They peppered Ottinger thoroughly for us throughout the first half of that game. Does any of that creep in, or is it still pretty calm and cool? And I mean, I gotta understand, it's got to be frustrating, and it would be hard to keep that in at some point.
For sure. And I think if it was anybody else but Jake Ottinger and the Dallas Stars, losses like that would really frustrate you when they start to build. But when you go into Dallas on Saturday and you play as well as they did for, call it the first most of the game, and you pretty much get goalied, it's tough to get frustrated. If that is the Columbus Blue Jackets and Merzlikins, and you're losing games like that time and time again, this is a big week for them. Put it that way. What is it? Detroit, Pitt,
Carolina, Pitt, Detroit, Columbus is the next four.
And Carolina's not playing that well right now, even though it is early still. But this is a week for them against teams where you can start to build some momentum. I think Saturday is just a case of a really good goaltender and a good hockey team just getting goalied. All
right. Luke, always appreciate the stories. By the way, I still have your credit card. I'll mail it back to you.
It's got insufficient funds on there.
You're like, when did I buy all these comic books? What is going on? All right.
New podcast, new equipment for you guys and everything. Get set up and then give it back to me.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. See you soon, buddy.
All right, guys. See ya. Oh.
That is Luke Gazdic checking in. Have you ever thrown your credit card into a hat and wondered if you were going to be paying for the meal or not? I would say I've never had that experience.
Once. And I missed it.
Was it a large bill or was it just a bunch of guys?
It was about $600.
Oh, it was, eh?
Yeah.
Was it sports related? Or was it?
Yeah.
Can you tell? Can you say?
Yeah, it was just it was a bunch of guys that were out for a draft, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we all had enough libations to come up with this stupid idea, and then the person that lost was actually quite upset.
Yeah, I would have been too.
So we're like, well, why did we do this?
Why did we do this? Yeah.
I think we ended up splitting it anyways.
That was nice of you. 780-218-9999.
I'm the glue guy, Reid.
Is the EST inbox. You can jump into the Nasty Chat on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up as well. The off-topic topic is a song that inspires you to travel, or maybe you have traveled, such as Kokomo by the Beach Boys or Highway to Hell by AC/DC, as somebody wrote in. That's a pretty good one, too.
I've got some that I've been collecting, so we'll get to them here as we can.
And we'll crunch the numbers on the Oilers' power play for Gallo LLP when we get back. First, the one and only Zach Kubish with a sports update for Paramount Flooring.
Oilers' 32nd overall pick, Sam O'Reilly, has signed his entry-level deal. The 18-year-old forward has 5 points in 7 games for the London Knights so far this season. There's just one game on the schedule with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Toronto Maple Leafs going at it down in the 6th. And over in the NFL, Brandon Ayuk's season is over for the 49ers after he tore his ACL and MCL in yesterday's game. He went down awkwardly during a tackle in his attempt to make a 15-yard pass. DK Metcalf is now week to week after spraining his MCL, and Metcalf was carted off the field last night in Atlanta in the fourth quarter. It's Ravens-Buccaneers opening up the Monday night doubleheader at 6:15 before the Chargers take on the Cardinals. And you can join Lieutenant Eric down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for the action. Over in the MLB, the Blue Jays have hired David Popkins as their new hitting coach, and Popkins spent the last 3 seasons with the Minnesota Twins and will be entering his 4th season coaching in the big leagues. This sports update has been brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly family owned and operated for 33 years. Paramount Flooring is your full service flooring and tile supplier. Whether you're a homeowner, renovator, or builder, Paramount Flooring has got what you're looking for. Visit their showroom that's open 7 days a week at 10707 184th Street. Paramount Flooring, flooring for the life that you live. The Reid Wilkins Show continues just after the break. I'm Zachary Kubish for your sports update.
The grand opening sale at Sit and Sleep is almost over. This is your last chance to take advantage of the special introductory sale prices on all mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, get free local delivery on any mattress over $7.99 and receive a free bamboo cooling mattress protector. Enjoy grand opening savings with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the final celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Don't miss out the grand opening sale in soon.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of Injury Law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
A&W has a deal for you. What's better than one A&W Mama Burger made with a perfectly seasoned grass-fed beef patty topped with pickles, a slice of onion, ketchup, mustard, and teen sauce served on a toasted sesame seed bun? 2 Mama Burgers for only $9.99. You can enjoy 2 of these delicious, mouth-watering Mama Burgers for only $9.99 at participating A&W restaurants in Edmonton, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, and Devon. What a deal! And to make it even more convenient for you, most A&W drive-thrus are open 24 hours.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com.
All right, hope you had a great weekend. I went to the Golden Bears hockey game Saturday night. They are now 6-0. Golden Bears football team, man, oh man, been a bit of a nightmare for them this season. We'll talk more about those things as we move on throughout the show. Plenty of Oilers discussion. And our off-topic topic, Jay will quickly wrangle a few of your answers there for William Huff. So a song that inspires you to travel. Maybe you have traveled as a result of it, or you would like to travel as a result of this song.
Well, this one came in unnamed, but, you know, Alabama's hit Roll On 18-wheeler.
Oh, wow.
Made him want to
just buy an 18-wheeler and roll on.
Just roll down the highway.
Just roll across the country.
See where the road takes you. Rip City Step said, my wife and I went to Catalina Island. There was no Billy Joel cover band or wine mixer there, but it was very cool and nice. I don't get that. What is that?
Billy Joel must have a song where he mentions
Catalina Island.
You know who's a big Billy Joel fan?
Who?
Morley Scott.
Really?
Yeah. Like he has Billy Joel pictures and memorabilia all around his desk, or he did anyway.
Wow.
Maybe as soon as he left, maybe as soon as I left, he was like, finally I can drop the Billy Joel ruse.
Thought it made Reid happy.
just didn't make him happy enough.
There's been a couple of these, but Duck Dad said the A&W song, if allowed to fester in my brain for too long, typically ends with a trip to A&W.
Oh, that is a good one. That's a nice way to work that in.
Yeah, they did that live in here. That was great. Spency 5 Centsy, Chilliwack, Fly at Night. It's a song about traveling rock stars and a great song to play while on the road sightseeing. Always makes me want to go on a road trip.
Oh, cool.
Bone says, I want to go all places Stompin' Tom Connors sings about. There's a lot
like
in
the
that,
hockey game.
Well, think of all the song the city names in there.
Or maybe like On the Road Again by Willie Nelson just could make you want to go anywhere.
Just make you
just
go
get on the road again. That was cool. I really like the A&W one. That was good. By the way, speaking of going places, later on today, before 6, I can't tell you exactly when, we will have the keyword for the EST Flyaway to LA presented by the 780. That's for a trip to see games in Los Angeles from December 26th to 30th. So that's pretty cool.
Okay. I'm getting it now. This was not a...
What?
This was not a song by Billy Joel. It was from Step Brothers, the Catalina Wine Mixer song they sing at the end of the movie.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think I've seen Step Brothers. I feel ashamed yet again.
It's good.
Is that the one with Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks, Giant Mike, in the EST inbox. And if you are watching us on YouTube right now, hammer that thumbs up so we can get 1/5 of the recipe
for chocolate chips,
the goods
or
needed
for chocolate chip cookies.
For chocolate chip cookies. Today's is chocolate chips,
I think.
And the funny thing is, I guarantee you, after we bake these, he's going to say that they were for him.
Yes, and he didn't bring his pretzels, by the way, from the plane.
Yeah, that was a load of crap.
That was a ruse.
A ruse. I like that word.
All right, let's crunch the numbers here. We do it every Monday for Gallo LLP, Gallo LLP, chartered professional accountants, where they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John at Gallo LLP. If you would like to discuss further how they can crunch your numbers and help your business grow, visit their website, gallollp.ca, and see how Gallo LLP can help your business grow. All right. We're going to crunch the numbers. Well, I am anyway, and Jay will react in whatever way he feels appropriate. I do want to dive into the Oilers' power play because I have said throughout the first almost 2 weeks of the season that I'm not concerned about the power play. And when I say concerned, what I mean is I don't think it's going to be a weakness or underproductive for the entire season. I recognize it has not been productive. Of course, the stats tell the story. I recognize they have had some power plays in which they haven't even looked that dangerous. I think others they have had, to be fair, but not all of them, and maybe not as often as you like. And hey, Saturday's game, you get a power play goal before Dallas gets theirs, maybe you win that game. You put them on the back heel and they can't get back into it. But I want to give you the reasons that the power play is not a priority for me when it comes to being concerned about things for the team. Because I have been saying that, and I'm not just saying it just because I just want to say something or to argue with people in the nasty chat who think it is a concern. I have definite reasons for this. Okay? So first of all, let's look at the Oilers' power play the previous 5 seasons. So going back to 2019-2020 up to last year. 29.5%, 27.6, 26 even, 32.4, and 26.3. So that is 5 consecutive years, and their worst season was 26%. So that's why this year I thought it was reasonable to assume that the power play should operate at least 25% over the course of the entire season. I know Smitty the Welder said in the nasty chat a few minutes ago, but Reid, it's not last year. Every year is different. Quite frankly, Smitty the Welder, I think that is a load of crap when it comes to this power play. Pardon my language. Your penalty kill concern, that's fair. And Luke brought that up as well. It's different people on the PK. It's not different people on the power play. And, those first couple of years on the power play, they didn't have Zach Hyman and they didn't have Evan Bouchard, and they still went 29.5% and 27.6%. Because, there were other, Barry was on the power play, Alex Chason was net front for a while. They had some other players. So I would say that last year and previous years do matter when it comes to the power play because it's the same people. And a matter of fact, specifically with McDavid and Draisaitl, is the same people who are now just arguably entering the peak years of their career. So that's why I struggle with anybody who would try to convince me, oh, this power play has been figured out. Oh, what they have done before doesn't matter. Would you want to be treated that way, Smitty the welder? If you were one of the best employees at your job for 5 years straight, and then you had a bad 7-day stretch at work, would you want your boss to come up to you and say, Smitty, you're done. Sorry, man. Like, you're just not our top guy anymore. And I don't know if you work as a welder or used to or whatever, but is that how you would want to be treated at your workplace? You would want to be relegated and given up on after a bad week or two, after 5 years of excellence. Like, think about that. That makes no sense. And yes, I know this is a competitive sport that I'm talking about, not a traditional 9-to-5 workplace or whatever your hours are. But to say that this power play has been figured out or doesn't have the personnel to figure it out, that argument doesn't hold any water with me. Now, look, guys, if you've listened to me before, I will admit if I make an incorrect projection. If it's December 15th and the Oilers' power play is 12%, I'll say, holy crap, I didn't see that happening. I was wrong. I should have come on here with my hair on fire and been the most negative person on the planet. But again, last 5 years, 29.5, 27.6, 26, 32.4, 26.3. It's currently at 6.7%. That is terrible. I assume nobody thinks it's going to be 6.7% for the entire season. So then tell me what you think it's going to be. 18%? 14%? Like, what's the number you think it'll get to that'll still be pretty bad? That's what I want. That's what I want to know. And I know in the nasty chat this morning, somebody said to me, well, you can't just not change anything. No, I'm not saying don't change anything. I'm not saying don't practice it. They didn't practice it today, by the way. I imagine they will tomorrow for the morning skate. We'll see. What I'm suggesting is that they have the players to think and adjust and work at it and then be successful, because that's exactly how it has been successful for the last 5 years. Also, and I referenced this last week, but just I confirmed everything. As you know, Jay, they play 82 games in an NHL regular season. In 38 of the games last year, the Oilers did not score a power play goal. Almost half. So it's even the greatest power plays, you don't score every game. Last year, from December 16th to December 31st, the Oilers played 7 games. They went 1 for 17 on the power play. Last season, from March 2nd to March 10th, they played 6 games. They went 1 for 17 on the power play. They're currently at 1 for 15. So, again, it happens. I'm not writing it off. I'm not writing it off with the talent that they have and how that they have bounced back from bad stretches earlier. So that is my reasoning, not my emotion, not my gut feel, not my, maybe I'll just disagree with listeners just for the sake of doing it. No, I'm not doing that. That is my reasoning for why this power play over the balance of the season will be a strength and not a weakness. Young Jay Milne.
I mean, that 43% of the games they didn't score a power play goal in last year.
Right.
Well, technically 44. So, yeah, maybe it just needs to have a little tweaking done to it because other teams may have found the way to stop it. I mean, they've recorded 17 shots. Obviously, these shots, and that's not as many as they took, a lot of these shots aren't getting through.
Right.
Right? So, it's just one of these things that it's glaring, and you've got to trust that the best player in the world and somebody that's top 3 or 4 in the world are playing on the same unit. I'm confident that they're going to figure it out. I was kind of quite frankly surprised to hear that they didn't spend any time on it today at practice, right?
It doesn't mean they didn't do video or other stuff that we didn't see.
Okay, that's fair. But, I don't know if that's necessarily the reason that they lost in Dallas, right? They had 2 opportunities. Jake Ottinger stood on his head, right? So there's just a lot of compounding issues going on with the team, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's 50-50 as to what the people that are listening, that at least are chiming in, are feeling.
Boy, it really irritated people. Smitty the Welder says it happens all the time in the real world, Reid. Really? You're the best employee for 5 years and you lose your job or your position after one bad week. Smitty, you're trying to troll me, and it's not going to work, okay?
Yeah.
I know you're, for some reason, enjoying that the Oilers are having a tough time to the start of the season.
And that's it. Okay.
Congratulations.
I guess, yeah, that's like, what I don't know. I don't know Smitty the Welder, so I don't know, most, I guess some of these people I do, but I assume most of them listening to Edmonton Sports Talk would be Oilers fans. But maybe that's not the case. I just find that it's an incredible amount of time and effort goes into finding all the flaws that are with this team. And that seems to be all the only focus. I'm a Commanders fan. I have been since I was a little guy. And I've never said, oh, man, they went to the Super Bowl last year, but they suck this year. Wow, what a bunch of losers. I don't know. It's just not my pedigree, I guess.
I will agree with this comment that Smitty the Welder said. And I want you to remember this, Smitty the Welder. I'm actually agreeing with you, okay? Because I know you're doing your best to troll me. I know you're doing your real best. You know, you're not going to beat me, but I know you're doing your best, okay? He says they needed a 16-game and 8-game win streak to get back in it last year. Can't expect them to do that again. And I totally agree with that. You can't remember, like, they started bad last year and they won 16 games in a row and they didn't even win the division. So that would be my concern about a bad start, is that you put yourself in a situation where you're so far down in the hole, you got to win, 10 out of 12 and then win 10 out of 12 again just to crawl back into a playoff spot, right?
Now, do you think that this should open the opportunity for the second unit power play?
No.
Stick with it. Stick with plan A. Why not?
Knobloch's talked about that. We're going to have a clip from him in the next segment.
Yeah, I don't know. I find that I just don't like that there's an open timeline to how long they have on the power play. If you say, okay, we're going to try
I've really upset the welding community, too.
Yeah, I
wasn't directed specifically.
I hope you don't need any framework.
I'm just saying, I would think in any profession, you have some status that is built up over a period of time.
Tenure, one would say.
Or whatever, yes.
Yeah. You have to really screw up after 5 years of really good service and one bad week for them to say bye-bye. Think of the severance that would cost them alone.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't think it's worth it for the welding company.
Yeah.
I disagree. Unless you assaulted somebody and there are maybe pending charges associated with that. But other than that, just if you screw up on a weld.
Yeah. I just think, I don't know if Smitty the Welder has ever watched the Oilers before this year. Because their power play has been really, really good, and they've worked it out through bad things. So if they keep practicing and adjusting and working on things, the history shows that they should figure it out. That's all I'm saying. If they make some adjustments or refocus on their strengths and get back to those things should work, right? I would think.
I'm 100% not trolling you, Reid.
I know that he is. I know how fans operate. I basically have a degree in psychology from dealing with fans for over a decade.
The fact is, you keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. It's insanity. But they're not expecting a different result. They did the same thing last year. That's what you're saying. So chill out and let it come to fruition.
Yeah, no, I'm saying they have to work on it, and I'm saying they might have to make adjustments. I'm specifically saying that. I'm not saying, just don't change anything.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't know.
I still, I'd be...
Smitty, I'm going to tell you something. I'm trolling you, and it's working based on your last response. All right. We got the Oil Understood coming up. Got a sports...
The winners. Props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Conveniently located 10 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheeler's RV Storage will provide you with safe, secure storage for your RV, boat, or whatever you need to store. Open 7 days a week with gated keypad access and extra large stalls. Now is the time to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 month free. Now's the time to go to WheelersRVStorage.com. That's Wheeler's RV Storage. Safe, secure storage. Visit them today at WheelersRVStorage.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they're the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Forward Sam O'Reilly has signed a 3-year entry-level deal with the Edmonton Oilers, and in the early going this season, O'Reilly has 5 points in 7 games for the London Knights. It's Maple Leafs and Lightning in the lone NHL game with the Oilers back in action tomorrow. And over in the NFL, Cooper Kupp was a full participant in practice for the Rams. Elsewhere, Brandon Ayuk will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL and MCL. Ayuk was injured yesterday after falling awkwardly while getting tackled during his attempt to make a 15-yard reception. Seahawks receiver DK Metcalf suffered a grade 1 MCL sprain during yesterday's game in Atlanta and will be out week to week. The Monday Night Football doubleheader has the Ravens kicking off against the Bucs before the Chargers meet the Cardinals, where Lieutenant Eric will be hanging out at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road for both of those games. In basketball, Nike agrees to a 12-year extension with the NBA and WNBA to remain as an official global outfitter for both leagues. Nike has been making jerseys for both the WNBA and NBA since 2017. The Blue Jays have hired David Popkins as their new hitting coach. Popkins spent the last 3 years with the Minnesota Twins and will be entering his 4th season coaching in the big leagues. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
Hey, thanks, Coop. Great work on the sports update. With you until 6 o'clock tonight. We will have the keyword for the flyaway to LA for the 780 coming up at some point within the next 2 hours to have our latest qualifier for that. Nasty chats often running on YouTube. Guys, you're right. I know very little about welding. I don't think I said anything insulting to welders, did I? No. I couldn't weld if my life depended on it. I totally admit that.
It's hard. Have you ever tried to stick welding?
No, I would kill myself.
Like sticks to it, and it's hard.
No, I would be injured or dead quite quickly.
It's an interesting profession. There's so many small things they have to look at, like the wattage and the voltage. And I'm no pro, but I did it in high school, and it's really fun. But it can be very dangerous, especially like arc flash. Like if you spark the weld to try and get the bead rolling and the metal melting off. whichever way you're welding, if you don't have your mask up or you walk by somebody's booth and you get a catch of that, like it could be very dangerous.
The light. Yeah.
So
danger.
Rip City Steps says the PK being good has always been a better indicator that the Oilers are playing well as a team. The PP is great to have as a weapon, but the PK is what you all should be wasting your thoughts on. Yeah, I actually agree with that. Like if there's a special team, I'd be more concerned about the PK. It hasn't looked as good overall. I guess they had a couple of good games, but to me it hasn't looked as good, and that's where they lost personnel, and that's why I'm pushing back on the people like, well, quit talking about last year, and that's like, whatever it is, there is, to me, there's some cachet and reputation built up with these players because they've been successful year after year after year. The PK has moved things around, has lost a couple of key guys from last year, Fogle and McLeod. Desharnais would be out there on the PK, CC sometimes. So that's why I would be, if we want to talk about a special team over the course of the entire season or maybe, half a season or whatever until they figure out what's going on more with a unit, that would be a bigger concern for me. Again, I'm not arguing that the power play has been good enough. It's probably cost them a game or two along the way. No argument there. But I don't project that it's going to continue to be this flat when it comes to scoring goals. That's a difficult projection for me to make. I mean, it's like, okay, so Ohtani hits a bunch of home runs. He goes his first 10 games next year without a home run. Like, he's not finished as a batter. The pitchers haven't figured him out necessarily. The PK, I would be more concerned about than the PP.
Well, I mean, losing Fogle, like you said, I think was the biggest hit to that. Fogle was a huge part of that first unit penalty kill. But they have the weapons to do that. I think it just needs some time to come together. And like Gazdic said earlier, I mean, Hurricanes, Penguins, Red Wings, Blue Jackets. If there's a time to try get things a little bit on pace, might be right now after, we'll see. You can only see, Reid. You can't see into the future. You can only see
it's
what's
difficult,
here.
and this is where I really feel, and I felt this way over the years, because what I did 11 years as a sports talk show host in the city, this is where I really feel that I let a lot of the listeners down as a host and as a human being. Why? Because my inclination generally is not to panic. So if somebody, and this is what I'm like in my real life as well, if somebody comes to me upset or concerned or frustrated or crying or whatever, my first concern is, how can I make this person feel a little bit better, right? Or listen or empathize, but maybe say, well, maybe this is going to come out of this. So, it's and that's where I really feel and I probably am not going to change this because it's just the way I am. But I realize it's not always great for doing this job, because if someone, a listener, I know, well, some of these people I've met in person at EST events, but some of these people I'll never meet in person. So it's just this relationship over the airwaves, over the stream. But if they come to me and say, I'm so upset because my favorite hockey team can't do this, my first inclination is to say, okay, but let's think about this other side of it too. Maybe you'll be right. Maybe it will be bad. But maybe you just keep this in your mind too, that maybe it will be good. So like I really do, I don't know if I need to apologize for who I am, but maybe I do. Maybe I need to apologize for not being as emotional as some of the listeners. Like I'm sorry that I can't always match that. Like if I'm concerned about something, I'll say I'm concerned about it. But again, I'll try to have numbers or observations to back it up. So like I realize I'm letting a lot of people down by not writing the power play off. I realize I'm doing that. And I don't want to let people down, but I'm actually coming from a place of offering maybe a counterpoint to the doom and gloom.
That's an insane statement. I'm letting people down by not writing off the power play. Okay, first, this is sports, not life. Secondly, never change who you are. That's why people tune in. And you've backed up what you've said with rational, collected thoughts. If you're wrong, Well, then you're wrong. It's like our NHL preseason predictions. If we're wrong, nobody's ever going to talk about them. If we're right, well, I told you the Jets were going to win the Stanley Cup. Look at me now.
I just love how many people in the Nasty Chat are now talking about times they attempted to weld and how good or not good they were at. We're not going to read all those. I think that's one of those that will remain a little bit internal. We do have the oil understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a proud partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel, diesel understood. All right. Well, there were a lot of questions about the power play today. Head coach Chris Knobloch was asked, so are the personnel on the first power play unit locked in, as is, would you change them? What are you thinking there?
No, it's not locked in, but I know talking to Glenn about it, and Glenn has been here for a while, and he's seen some ups and downs of the power play, mostly a lot of ups, and he said every year there's been talk about changing that power play, and every year they're at the top in the league. So let's just be cautious about changing things, because it's been mentioned every single year he's been here, and every year they persevere and they show why they are an elite power play. We expect more from them, and they expect more from themselves. And, there's things that maybe we can address and get better, but I think we just have to be a little patient and not be thinking about blowing things up, because there are stretches where power plays just don't go well. And you look around the league right now, and there are some power plays that have been typically really good, and they haven't got off to a good start. Ours is one of them.
Okay, so it doesn't sound like he wants to make any changes, at least in the short term. If you were to alter the first power play unit, what would you do?
I'd remove Ryan Nugent-Hopkins briefly. Okay, and maybe an Arvidsson. Maybe it would be Henrique. I don't know. Skinner.
I think you'd probably have to reward Skinner first play. Okay, here's the thing. For me, Bouchard, McDavid, and Draisaitl aren't coming off the first power play.
No.
And quite frankly, I didn't say it today. How many times did I say last week, why doesn't Bouchard take more slap shots? I'm pretty sure he's taken one all season, and it went in the net. Now, it wasn't on the power play, but it got negated for goalie interference.
He's got 3 shots on the power play.
I'll make a crazy, and it doesn't sound like Knob. I'll make a crazy suggestion. I think you might do this for a game. What about Corey Perry instead of Hyman?
Yeah. That would be you could do that. No, but you could do that because they're similar players. They have a knack of getting to the front of the net. Now, I don't think Hyman has necessarily been playing awful. I mean, Hyman's the kind of player that he rolls when that top line is rolling, right? He's the benefactor of a lot of, being in the right space at the right time kind of goals when that line is rolling. So, I don't know. I could see, yeah. And you know what? Skinner would in hindsight, looking like Arvidsson, no, I would definitely try Skinner up there.
It is interesting though, because what's some of the dialogue and observations we've had about Knobloch in about a year? He has changed stuff.
Yep.
I know some of the changes people don't always like. Oh, why did he go back to McDavid and Draisaitl? Like, I get some of that stuff, but he changed the goalie during the playoff series. He put Broberg in as this playoffs went on. He took Ceci out for a game. We've talked a lot about the scratching Perry and McLeod and then putting them back in, and that's just from the playoffs. So he has changed stuff. And then when he's talked about changing the first power play, he says, I'm not going to change it. If this coach ever makes a change to the first power play unit, then maybe he's concerned about some stagnation or not being able to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. It's what do you want to present?
Right.
If this is a cool, calm, no, nothing's wrong, we're going to figure it out, then you stick with what's out there.
And Knobloch was also asked, okay, it's 1 for 15. That's not good. Why is this, Coach?
I think it's a couple things. One is execution. I think that's the biggest thing, just not getting shots through, passes getting intercepted. I think that's one of it. I think one other one is probably a lot of teams doing a lot of their homework on the pre-scout and what to do to shut us down, and maybe we have to adapt a little bit. But I think maybe a little bit of that, but I think mostly just the execution.
So I mean, he's kind of talking about things we've been talking about. Adjust a little bit, stick with it, execute a little better. I like what Les just posted. Perry is less likely to have a goal called back than Hyman, he means. Though Perry did have less likely, though still possible. Because which was the game Perry tipped the one? I can't remember now. Was that Chicago? Calgary? I can't remember which one it was. It was Calgary. When he had the nice deflection against goal. Yeah, well, I feel like most likely to commit goalie interference on the Oilers. Hyman, probably then Perry. Well, Arvidsson had a goalie interference call back. But again, you're around the net, which is never a bad thing. Do you want to do the Nuge clip now or save it?
Sure.
What you know what? Koob, let's skip to the third Knobloch. Let's skip the Nuge clip. We'll do that later if we have time. Knobloch was also asked, could the second power play unit get to play more?
That's a tough one to answer, just because, yes, I think it is important. I think we do have a good second unit power play who can contribute. But you've also got a couple of elite players, and some teams have their elite players do the full 2 minutes power play, and I think we have to balance on, we want those best players out there a lot, and I think they'll make the difference, but we want other guys to be included and have part of it. So splitting it down the middle and saying 50-50, I think that's kind of not realistic. A lot of teams that do that, most of them don't have very good power plays. Usually it's the first unit power play that's running the having the success. And if you're going with two, it's usually there's competition, but usually neither one of them are really thriving. And sometimes there is an outlier on there. So it's balancing on how we can get some guys in, but also not taking those guys out, and we have to address that.
Can we power play it? All right, so do you buy that he's saying that if you have power play units who play equally, you probably don't have a good power play? Do you buy that?
Well, that's what he's saying. He's saying if you rely on two power play, like the second unit power play just doesn't work that way. The most efficient power plays are running the same system that the Oilers are. What about this? I mean, this is just a crazy thought I just had enter my mind. What if you switch everybody out but McDavid and let McDavid run the whole 2 minute power play, but switch out the...
Oh, he stays on the entire time. Well, sometimes he doesn't go off anyway.
I know, but that's the guy
but
who's
you would just say McDavid, you're actually on both units.
Yes.
Even if we change halfway through.
That's the guy that's pushing the zone entry and making it look really easy, right?
Right.
But that has been, if you watch Power Play 2, that's an issue. And keeping it in that zone, instead of losing it along the wall or in the corner, McDavid gain entry, set it up.
Yeah.
I mean, is there a world where that would ever happen?
Yeah, I don't know I don't know. That's an interesting point. XJJ makes a good point. It's painful watching Power Play 2 attempt to gain zone entry. He says, I believe if Nuge was on the second power play, it improves that aspect as well. And we talked about that before the season, where I said, what was I did some list on like top 3 things that I'll miss someday. It's like you're just so quote unquote spoiled as Oilers observers that you pretty much know you're going to get the zone 99% of the time. Because if McDavid doesn't skate it in, they're good enough to pass it across the line anyway.
It's very efficient at gaining the zone.
And then on that second unit, now I know he didn't score a lot, but last year McLeod could just skate it in.
Yep.
Too, he was fast enough as well. But you're right, that power play 2 might be able to do something. A, they're not on the ice very much, and then B, that's fair. They don't often get the zone entry, which is almost an automatic with when McDavid's on the ice. So anyway, that's where the coach is at. We'll see. I would guess they'll work on it at the morning skate tomorrow, and we'll see if they can be a little more productive. But again, for me, it's a little lower down on the I think a lot lower down on the list of things that I think could derail the Oilers season. We have Trent Brown coming up. Of course, we're in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com. Book your private consultation today. The Coob with a sports update.
The Edmonton Oilers have signed 32nd overall pick Sam O'Reilly to a 3-year entry-level contract. The 18-year-old forward has 5 points in 7 games this season for the London Knights. Just one game tonight with the Lightning and the Maple Leafs facing off, while over in the NFL, Cooper Kupp was a full participant in practice for the Rams, and Brandon Ayuk's season for the 49ers is over after tearing his ACL and MCL yesterday. DK Metcalf for the Seahawks was also injured, suffering a grade 1 MCL sprain last night, being listed today as week to week. It's Ravens-Buccaneers opening up the Monday night doubleheader at 6:15 before the Chargers take on the Cardinals. And you can find Lieutenant Eric down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road for the action tonight. In the MLB, the Blue Jays have hired David Popkins as their new hitting coach, and Popkins spent the last 3 years with the Minnesota Twins and will be entering his 4th season coaching in the big leagues. Right after the break, Trent Brown joins the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubish, and that was your Sports Update.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Jay, how are you?
Excellent, Reid. How are you?
Good. Commanders won again, eh?
Yeah, they played against Carolina. What do you?
Tough year. I think Chuba did he get the touchdown?
Yeah, Chuba's playing. He's probably the best player for them this year.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He's
good.
been doing really
tough
well.
year, though.
Jaden Daniels will be all right. I know you were concerned.
Oh, yeah, he got banged up, didn't he?
Ribs. Just his wibs.
Is he already, well, I shouldn't say this maybe. Is he the leading candidate for Rookie of the Year?
Yeah, he's in the conversation for MVP of the league.
I thought I was watching I don't know which desk show I was watching. They were saying Goff might be.
Well, I said in the conversation.
Which is still pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing very, very well. But Jared Goff, I mean, geez, you look at his numbers. Josh Allen, Josh Allen is playing very well. What was it? I think he's the only player through 7 games. He's the second player in NFL history through 7 games, has thrown 12 touchdowns, no interceptions.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
Couldn't believe it.
And this is Allen. He had one game where he was 9 for 30. I know that because he's on my fantasy team. I'm gonna lose this week. Do we have Trent?
I think that's what I read.
We got Trent Brown from James H. Brown, Double E legend.
What's happening? Can you hear me down there?
We got you, buddy. How are you?
Good. I'm a long ways away, so I wasn't sure if you could hear me.
Oh, we can hear you loud and clear. Trent, you got Jay here. Hey, we just wanted to start off by saying congrats are in order for you. You're going to be given the Business Leaders Award on October 30th by the Business in Edmonton Group. So congrats to that. We're gonna give you a little clap here.
Oh boy!
Thanks,
pal. Yeah.
You know, we got to celebrate when one of ours, gets out there on the big stage and gets the award. So congrats to you.
Thanks, pal. You surround yourself with good people and good things happen, eh?
Yeah, well, look at me. I'm sitting next to Reid Wilkins. Who would have thunk? Okay, here's what I want to know, Mr. Trent Brown. The Elk season. What would you label this season? I mean, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, given that Toronto's probably not going to be dressing all that many players. Players of starting capabilities anyways. And they're going to get the win against Toronto at home here on Friday. Would you consider this season for the Elks a success, a failure, or something else?
Oh, boy. That's a tough question, but you know me. So for me, it's a failure. The team doesn't make the playoffs. You can't consider it a win in this town. With the talent they have, I think that they were close. They lost a lot of close games. They need to learn how to find a way to win. I know what I would do, but I think that it's good that they got a new owner. They got some new blood. There seems to be some new excitement around the team. But at the end of the day, I think some big changes still need to be made. I'm not happy with the way the offense has been run this year, the defense also. So I think there needs to be some coaching changes. I don't know what's in store for those guys. But one thing that really gets to me, and with your permission, I'll just let you have it and I'll be honest here, but like with the 1-2 punch like they've got at the quarterback position, don't you think, and I don't know if you remember the Grey Cup where Warren Moon is in there, he's really struggling. Hugh Campbell puts in Wilkie. He calms everything down, puts Moon back in, they come back and they win that game. With the 1-2 punch they got, sort of like a Moon and Wilkie, completely different guys. One's got experience, one isn't that experienced. Why aren't they doing that? 1-2 punch. They put in one guy, they start one guy, and then they stick with them all game. Like, geez, you throw 3 picks, you're down by 30, but we're not going to give the other guy a chance to see the field. It just makes no sense to me. I have to question what they're doing. It's easy to be an armchair quarterback. But come on, guys. There's a better way here. Football isn't rocket science, Jay. You know that. And I've got some opinions on the defensive side of the ball too. You can't give up the big plays. Give them stuff. Make them nickel and dime you the way down the field, and they're bound to make some mistakes. But you can't give up the big plays. I mean, it's great to have a safety out there that's running around making plays, and this guy is. But they're giving up the big play all the time, and you do that in football, you're not going to win a lot of games.
Trent, I wanted to just go back to something you said there, and I agree with you, and just give, as a former safety yourself, as to try and have to game plan, because I agree. Why would you not have packages for McLeod, Bethel Thompson, and Trey Ford, 2 completely different quarterbacks, one that's going to be able to challenge you with their legs, one that's going to challenge you with fitting balls into tight spaces, but if you had, back in your playing days, you had to prepare yourself and prepare your defense for 2 completely different quarterbacks that could come in at any given time, that would give you nightmares, right?
Absolute nightmares, pal. You know that. It's impossible to game plan for both of those guys. And so not to be utilizing that and keeping the defense sort of guessing is in my opinion, a big shortcoming of this team this year. Like, if you game plan for one, you throw the other guy in, and it's a completely different game plan. And we've seen what happens when Ford is in there. It opens up the inside run. The ends can't crash down. They can't stop the run. It opens everything up inside when you threaten the edge like he can. And then you put the other guy in, and you're a drop back passer. Completely different. right? So they should be doing it. Guys that played ball know it. You know it. I know it. I talk to guys around the league. We all know it. Why Jarius Jackson doesn't know it, it befuddles me. And that's one place where I think that they need to make a change.
Well, speaking of changes, there's going to be a lot of changes in this organization this offseason. One is obviously right at the top in naming the team's next president. Have you given any thought to somebody that you would like to see in this position? Would you like to be the president of the Edmonton Elks? Or are you too busy, doing your day job? But like seriously, I mean, who's a person that you would think that could get what this city needs, what this organization needs from the top?
That is funny that you asked me, because I was going to ask you if you were interested, but we both got big families. We're both girl dads, and so I would never bite off something like that or even think about it or consider it. But certainly somebody that's got some experience running a business. I think Rick has been around. He's well connected. I personally think it should be somebody local too, that knows this city and knows the community ties to our community. I think is really important. But there's lots of guys that could run this team and be qualified. I personally like it when the leadership is connected in some way to football too. Because at the end of the day, they'll be hiring the guys that run the team. So there's got to be some connection there. But there's lots of guys around, and I'm a big supporter of this team, and I'm going to support whoever gets that job. But having said that, at some point, you got to be accountable in pro sports. And if you don't win, I think that the guys at the top are the guys should have to answer the bell. So.
Yeah, no, I agree, and it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out. And thirdly, I just, everybody gets to see your beautiful business name right behind us here in the studio every day, as James H. Brown is the studio sponsor for the Reid Wilkins Show. And I just wanted to bring everybody, if they're not on Facebook following the James H. Brown Facebook page, please go there right now and follow the James H. Brown Facebook page, because what are you guys doing? You did you buy shares in Ticketmaster or something? Like, what's going on here? You have all these packages that you're giving away. I don't understand it. Like Bruce Springsteen VIP package, Zach Bryan VIP package.
Yeah.
Trent, what's going on here? Tell the people how they can get involved.
So essentially why we do that stuff, Jay and Reid, like you guys both know me, and I'm competitive. And right now we're the last jurisdiction with where we still have tort law here. And so lots of law firms are moving in from out of the province. And I don't want to get beat at my game. And so I want to grow our following on social media. And so I've been told the best way to do that is to do giveaways. And so I'm going to do the best giveaways possible. I'm going to do a lot of them, and we're just going to give stuff away. The philosophy of the law firm has always been the more you give, the more you get. So we're giving it all away. The best concert seats, the best hockey game seats. We are doing it all, and follow us, and you have a chance to win. And I'm going to give you guys stuff to give away too, right? Oh. What do you want? Do you guys want to pair of tickets to the hockey game on Friday? Give it away.
Sure.
We'll do it. We're not doing it now. We'll do it later in the week. Yeah, let us know, Trent. Yeah, we'll do it maybe Wednesday or Thursday.
Look at that.
Best seats in the house, center ice, row 11. Give a pair away to your listeners, guys. The Penguins are coming. Sidney Crosby, you don't get a lot of chances to see him live. Row 13, center ice.
Wow.
Do they get to sit with you?
No.
Okay, so it is really appealing.
So, like I would love to sit with the winners, but it's just my wife. Like, she would be pissed off because she has to do a lot of stuff. And well, Jay, right? I mean, you got to keep your wife happy. And I can't do that without asking her, because I get to be the boss at work. But boy, as soon as I get home, all I do is follow orders. So.
All right. Well, speaking of the Oilers, I mean, I know you're passionate about all the teams in the city, but I know, I see you at a lot of Oilers games as well. Are you? I mean, a lot of debate, obviously, on this show and others about what, if anything, fans should be concerned about. I know you have a unique perspective because, as a player, you used to have the ability to go out there and do something about it. Like, are you freaking out, mildly disappointed, or just saying, come on, they're going to be fine?
Well, so I do have an opinion about the Oilers. Surprise, surprise. Like, look, no GM wants to go into any offseason and say, let's get smaller and slower. But that's what this team did. They through bad management, they lost some of their best young players. A lot of guys don't know that Holloway during the playoffs was second in 5 on 5 goals. And he was also one of their most physical players. And so I had an opportunity to ask the coach a few questions, and I asked him straight out, I mean, who in your bottom 6 is going to play some physical hockey and answer the bell if you need a guy to fight? I mean, the first 3 games, I saw McDavid take more hits than I've ever seen him take. And you can't let teams take liberties with your stars. You can't let teams take liberties with your goalie. And this team is not intense enough, so they don't start games and there's no intensity there. They lose Desharnais, who is a guy that brought a lot of that. Nurses had a little bit of pushback. I was happy to see Stetcher and Perry step up and fight in that game. And when they did, you saw what happened. It was a different team. They need that intensity. The coach isn't an intense guy, and I've heard that from several players. And you have seen it too. He isn't a guy that's going to get in there and yell and scream. And you need that intensity to come from somewhere. So anybody that's watched that show with McDavid, we know what he's about. We know that he's intense. But you don't want him carrying the load in every area. Goal scoring, assists, hits. He won't be healthy 100 games in if you allow him to be the guy that leads the hits on this team. You need guys in your bottom 6. I think it helps to get Kane healthy again, but one guy can't do it all. You don't want your leaders on that team playing 100 games and playing big minutes in all of those games. So you need more depth, you need more size, and you need more speed. It's not rocket science, it's hockey.
All right, Trent. As always, we appreciate you. Somebody, me or Matt or Jay, will connect about what we're going to do with the tickets because I think we'll probably have to get them to somebody. But
yeah,
thank you for announcing.
I'll shoot you a text, Trent. We'll get it all sorted.
Thank you for announcing that on the show. And again, thanks for being our studio sponsor. And I know you're going to join us every few weeks here on the show, which is always fun, buddy. I hope you're doing great. All the best to you and your family.
Same to you guys, too. I love you guys. Keep on doing what you're doing. This city's a better place because of you two guys. Thanks.
Right on. Oh, wow. That's very kind. That's very kind. Yeah, I think the Oilers are definitely slower, for sure. And we've talked about, somebody said about forechecking a couple weeks ago with the players they lost. And I said, I think that would apply to Holloway and Fogle. The knock on McLeod was that he would get there, but wouldn't be overly physical. Yeah, that's we'll see. We'll see. I mean, again, I think there's a lot of everybody has their own lists of concerns about it. I think we'll see.
Wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know if I don't know if I'm as worried about that part as Trent is, but I know where he's coming from.
Sure, and it's interesting hearing different opinions because what some people might think is, well, this is the issue here. Well, Trent said no, this is. Well,
I mean, to this point, they've lost more than they've won, so obviously something's a little bit wrong. We'll talk about the goaltending too when we get back. Big thanks to Trent Brown for coming on the show. You're compiling Powerplay solutions.
Yeah, just general, complaints and power play complaints. I'm compiling a list, and we're going to go through
them between 5 and 6 at some point. Okay.
Yeah, I got blasted for my take that they could keep McDavid on and take everybody else off. That's apparently just...
He didn't mean by himself, everybody. It's going to be a 1-on-4. The other team has a guy in the box, but the Oilers are just going to... He might still score some of the times. No, but anyway, we'll talk about that. We have buying or selling for Damon Bunting coming up as well. Here comes the Coob with a sports update for Advantage Sports Medicine.
Forward Sam O'Reilly has signed a 3-year entry-level deal with the Edmonton Oilers. And in the OHL, Sam O'Reilly has 5 points in 7 games for the London Knights after being drafted 32nd overall by the Oilers this summer. In Toronto, it's Maple Leafs and Lightning in the lone NHL game with the Oilers back at it tomorrow. And over in the NFL, Cooper Kupp was a full participant in practice for the Rams. Brandon Ayuk for the 49ers will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL and MCL, while DK Metcalf from the Seahawks suffered a grade 1 MCL sprain during yesterday's game in Atlanta, listing him as week to week. The Monday night doubleheader has the Ravens kicking off against the Bucks, while the Chargers meet the Cardinals, and Lieutenant Eric will be at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge down on Fort Road for both of those games. Nike will stay as the NBA's and WNBA's official outfitters for 12 more seasons after signing an extension with both leagues earlier today. Nike has made uniforms for the NBA and WNBA since 2017. The Blue Jays have signed or hired David Popkins as their new hitting coach. Popkins spent the last 3 seasons with the Minnesota Twins and will be entering his 4th season coaching in the big leagues. This sports update has been brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy uses the same locker room approach, trusted by the best in the game. Find them online at advantage-sportmed.ca. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues just after the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, and that was your sports update.
10 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheeler's RV Storage will provide you with safe, secure storage for your RV, boat, or whatever you need to store. Open 7 days a week with gated keypad access and extra large stalls. Now is the time to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 month free. Now's the time to go to WheelersRVStorage.com. That's Wheeler's RV Storage. Safe, secure storage. Visit them today at WheelersRVStorage.com.
780 is just another lame-ass, low-budget local shop. Homegrown right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 1,000 local vendors from the 780 to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport.
Food Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at foodsausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Food Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
At Mind360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
All right, we are back on the Reid Wilkins Show. with a lot of conversation about the Oilers' special teams. And that's good. That's what we're here to do. We're here to discuss things, right, Reid?
Yes, Jay.
All right. Okay, we are going to get into buying and selling. Buy and selling is brought to you by Damon Bunting. Damon Bunting is a consistent top-producing realtor in the Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven. He understands what it takes to make a difference in our city, as you all saw last week when he was live in the studio talking about his assistance with the Robin Hood Association in Sherwood Park, which is just great. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or his Instagram handle of Damon Bunting Real Estate. Reid, I'm just going to make this really simple.
Sure.
Okay? And this is I'm going to send it over to you here. Buying or selling that the Oilers have a goaltending issue.
The way you word it, I would say selling.
Okay, what if I was to word it differently?
Well, it would depend on how you exactly worded it.
Let's answer this one first, then maybe I'll go back and reword it.
Sure.
Okay, so right now, the Oilers have a goaltending issue. Are you buying or selling on that statement?
I would say right now the Oilers' goaltending has been substandard on the season. Again, 6 games, so we'll see. If I were to look at these 6 games, I would say game 1, poor. Game 2, poor. Games 3, 4, and 5, good or very good. And then last game, I would probably say average. I think sometimes you have to give credit to the other team's goaltender, and I thought Ottinger was outstanding. So I've been thinking about this too, because as you know, when we talked about the goalie coach and we've talked about Skinner. And again, like I was doing earlier with the power play, I'll sort of give the basis for why I'm where I'm at. Now, I will say this. If I were to rank my concerns, the goaltending is a higher concern than the power play, for example, which I'm virtually not concerned about. I'm sorry if I'm in the minority there. And I said this during the preseason, that what if Skinner and Pickard both go down by even 0.05? Like if Skinner goes from 905 to 900 and Pickard goes down just a little bit, that would hurt over the long course of the season. Again, looking at the stats so far, I mean, Pickard's at 852 save percentage. He's 1-1. Skinner's 1-3 with an 851. I mean, I would expect that they'll go up from there. And they were below 800, I think, after the first 2 games. So if you're asking me if I think the Oilers have a goaltending problem or an issue, I would still say no, but we have to see some improvement. Now, why am I saying no? Okay, well, again, I'm going to go back to some stats, and I'll stick specifically with Skinner with this one since he's the number 1 goalie. He's the starter. Last season, there were 52 goalies who played 26 or more games, which is the stat that you have to qualify to be a league leader in the NHL. I mean, if you play 2 games and get 2 shutouts, you don't win the goals against or the Jennings or whatever, right? So there were 52 goalies that played 26 or more games and qualified. So how do you rate a goalie? Well, there's 3 key categories. I don't know which people are going to give the most weight to, but I know some people would say, and a lot of goalies who played the position simply say it's wins. At the end of the day, how many games was I the winning goalie for? You know, Kelly Rudy always used to tell me, he talked about a game he was in. Now, it was a higher scoring area. He said it was 5-5 after 2 periods. He was playing for the Islanders. And he said he was terrible, but it was 5-5. And he told himself, okay, I've played terrible. Who cares? I got to win 1 period. And my team wins the game. Islanders got 3 goals. He won the game 8-5. So he's leaving the rink. He's not worried about a 5 goals against average or an 850 save percentage. In his mind, he won the game. Some people would say, well, but you should never give up 5. I get it. But just if you look at wins, Stuart Skinner was tied for 3rd out of those 52 goalies with 36, and the league leader, Georgie the 5th of all people, had 38. Hellebuck had 37. Now, look, I hear everybody screaming at their speaker, yeah, but it's part of how the team play. I get it. I'm just going to give into these stats. He was 3rd in wins. Save percentage, he had 905, which was 24th out of those 52 goalies. So pretty much average, almost right in the middle. Goals against average, another way to rate a goaltender. He was 14th out of those 52 goalies at a 2.62. So one category, he's almost near the top. Another category, he's average. Another category, he's above average. Here's what I think about Skinner specifically. I'm not going to talk about the Oilers as a tandem. I'll talk about Skinner because he's the number one, and he was the guy in the playoffs. I think that there are probably 6 or 7 goalies in the NHL who are top-tier goalies, and I thought the Oilers played one of them on Saturday. I would put Ottinger, Demko, Hellebuck, probably both the guys for the Islanders and the Rangers up there. Vasilevsky, maybe he's later in his career, but I still think you got to look at what he's done. I guess probably maybe I'm missing some, but 6 or 7 guys that are top-tier goalies. Then I think there's a pretty wide second tier of goalies, and I think Skinner is in there, like maybe 7 or 8 through 24 even, how good you are in the league, that there's not much to choose from, and any given year one guy could be a little bit better than another guy. I think Skinner's in that category. So I think, individually, I would hope for him to have a season where his stats are above the league average. I don't think he's going to be in the top tier, but I would want him to be above the league average, which I think is where I would put him last year. Okay? So that's my hopes for him this year. I would never... I just don't think he's that goalie that he's going to turn into Ottinger or whatever and be this incredible guy. Now, it doesn't mean he's a bad goalie. It doesn't mean the Oilers can't do well with him, but that's how I look at him and his potential. So you sort of need him to be, even if he's the 10th best goalie in the league, in there, it's probably going to be okay for the team as a whole. All right? So that's how I look at that. Clearly this year, based on the save percentage, neither guy's been that good. Saturday's game in specific, because I know there was still some criticism of Skinner after that game. First of all, Ottinger was the best player in that game. He's an excellent goaltender who had an excellent game and basically was the biggest reason Dallas won. So I look at that and I say, okay, in that situation, I don't disparage the losing goalie. I say the winning goalie was really, really good. Now, any individual shot, you can say, okay, you would have liked the guy to stop it, Skinner to stop it, whatever. And yes, it was sort of got down to a mano situation where kind of even in the second half of the second period, you're thinking, man, this might be a shutout one way or the other. Either Ottinger is going to shut them out or Dallas will only get 12 shots on net. Because for a while, it looked like Dallas might not get to 12 shots on net. So I guess here's what I would say, and here's the logical part of my mind that I know irritates some people. Dallas scores a power play goal in which Matt Duchene has an open wrist shot from the slot and puts it in off the post. So yes, I understand the argument, well, you need your goalie to make a big save. Okay, fair enough. Last year in Game 5 of the playoffs, of the series with the Oilers and the Stars, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had an open shot from the slot on the power play and put it in off the post. What do Oilers fans say? Great shot. Duchene scores that way on the Oilers, and what do Oilers fans say? Boy, Skinner sure is terrible. I mean, that's what's I'm saying. You can't always have it both ways. Other guys are going to make great shots. So I'm more inclined to give Ottinger credit for that game as opposed to, say, Skinner lost them the game. And look, I'm going to say this as well. At some point this season, I know it doesn't seem this way right now because they're not scoring a lot. At some point this season, the Oilers are going to win a game 5-2 and Connor McDavid will have 4 points. So will the dialogue be McDavid had a great game, or will the dialogue be, boy, the number one center on the other team sure sucks? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think sometimes you have to give a top-tier player who has a top-tier game credit, and that's what I think about Ottinger's performance on Saturday. Again, overall, does Skinner and Pickard need to be better than they've shown overall on the whole? Do they need to be better? Yes. I mean, Pickard had a very good game in Nashville. I thought Skinner had a pretty good game against Philadelphia. I mean, the Flyers had a lot of chances in that game to get the fourth goal that might have ended it. And I even thought Skinner held the Oilers in against Calgary as long as he could, and the Oilers didn't play very well. So that's how I look at the goaltender. So I'm not prepared to say that they have a goaltending problem, but I think they need goaltending in the same caliber that they had last season. And if they don't have that, then yeah, that could cost them some wins along the way.
Well, I mean, would it be fair to say that they have they're defensively challenged in their own zone. And that has been contributing to grade A scoring chances by the opposing teams. I mean,
I think they were worse. Basically, if I were to simplify it, they've been better overall the last 3 games than the first 3 in every area, even on the attack, even though there's still some problems scoring.
You didn't think they took a bit of a step backwards last game in their defensive zone coverage? Forwards included?
As the game went on.
Yeah.
But, again, Dallas is good. I mean, you're dealing with another team that many people have been picked to win the Stanley Cup.
No, I agree. I mean, you look at that Duchesne goal, and Zach, great job bringing that up. That there was not a challenge presented. That was a grade A scoring chance off a face-off, off of defensive zone face-off. Seemed like something.
Well, Duchesne gets kicked out. Face-off is lost cleanly, and Duchesne has time to pick his spot. And I hear all the people, well, the goalie has to it's his job to bail out the team's mistakes. Okay, guys, but again, if your standard is perfection, you're never going to enjoy sports or anything in your life. Wait, that's profound, eh?
Very.
But that's how I look at the goaltending. It's if there's a slight drop off from last season, okay, that's going to make it a little tougher. If there's a noticeable drop off from last season, again, big picture, that's more concerning to me than the power play or anything else. But I don't think Stuart Skinner is a rotten goaltender, and I think last year's performance would back that up. Now, do we know what's going to happen this year? No, but I would hope he can be around the same caliber.
Well, I mean, you look at a breakdown of the teams that they've faced off in this, 2-4 start. 3 of them are against the current top 3 teams in the NHL, in Winnipeg, Calgary, and Dallas.
I don't think Calgary is going to stay up there.
I don't think it's sustainable, but I think they're playing good hockey right now. You can't deny that.
Yeah, sure. I think Winnipeg's a legit good team. I think Dallas is a legit good team. I thought Nashville would be a good team. They're 0-5.
Can you imagine what's going on sports radio down there?
Yeah, they're probably talking about Tennessee football beating Alabama.
Yeah, because that's all that matters.
Are we going to touch on our college football team, our university football team? We can in the next segment.
We have to.
That was, you know how I hate the word unbelievable? That was borderline unbelievable.
Well, yeah, we'll get to it more, but our beloved Bears struggled a crazy, difficult. Like the losses that have come this year are. I mean,
so they blew a 26-point lead on Saturday. They had another loss in which they threw 3 pick sixes.
There was not one offensive touchdown scored in that
game back against Calgary.
They lost to Manitoba on the last play in Winnipeg as well. A failed 2-point conversion.
So they lost on a failed 2-point conversion, and then on Saturday they lost on Manitoba getting a 2-point conversion.
Well, all right, we're going to get to that and fired up.
We are going to do the EST Flyway to LA presented by the 780. We're qualifying people 4 times each weekday, plus once on Saturdays during Hello Hockey. Also, someone from the Nasty Club will get in. Qualification goes on until November 28th. On November 29th, during the Dustin Nielsen Show in the morning, we give the trip away. The trip, December 26th through the 30th. Flight for 2 to L.A. with hotel and rental car. You get tickets to Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and an NHL game featuring Edmonton. The 780, a homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780, both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Online, it's 780.com, the word 7, numbers 80.com. 5 locations, Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, Outlet Mall by the airport. You have to text in. Don't do the nasty chat. Do text 780-218-9999. The keyword is Inglewood. We'll take some submissions over the next few minutes, and then we'll pick a qualifier and talk to that person live on the air.
Inglewood.
My voice went up. It must be exciting. It must be Christine. All right. We got fired up. We got my top 3. We got more from you as well. It's the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Turbochargers. Understood.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
The Edmonton Oilers have signed 32nd overall pick Sam O'Reilly to a 3-year entry-level contract. The 18-year-old forward has 5 points in 7 games this season for the London Knights. Just one game with the Lightning and Maple Leafs facing off, while over in the NFL, the Raiders are signing Desmond Ridder off the Cardinals practice squad, while Cooper Kupp was a full participant in practice for the Rams, and Brandon Ayuk's season was confirmed to be over after tearing his ACL and MCL yesterday. DK Metcalf for the Seahawks was also injured, suffering a grade 1 MCL sprain, being listed as week to week. It's Ravens Buccaneers opening up the Monday night doubleheader at 6:15 before the Chargers take on the Cardinals. The Blue Jays have hired David Popkins as their new hitting coach, and Popkins spent the last 3 years with the Minnesota Twins and will be entering his 4th season coaching in the big leagues. Out in Orlando, the Magic extend Jalen Suggs to a 5-year deal worth over $150 million. Last year, Suggs became one of 3 Magic players all time to make the NBA All-Defensive Team. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubish for your Sports Update.
Great job. I forgot to do the long pause today. I better do it now. GCL Diesel. Understood.
That was not long enough.
No. I was so eager to get to the conversation earlier. I didn't get it. By the way, we had Trent Brown on the show earlier in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Visit them at jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. Oilers Hurricanes tomorrow. It's at 7 at Rogers Place. We will have the GCL Diesel pregame show with Gazzola and Salas at 6, and then they'll be on after the game for the postgame show as the Oilers look for their 3rd win of the season. We will do Fired Up for Gemco. We'll do my top 3 for food sausage. But right now, we'll hear some comments from you, our beloved audience, from 780-218-9999, and the Nasty Chat, as Jay has been compiling stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people they have the fix to the power play.
Oh, cool.
So I'm just going to read them all. Okay. Surely one of these must be accurate. Don't know which yet.
Is sacrificing a bird or some sort of totemistic animal involved?
I haven't seen any sacrificial lambs yet, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. I thought there'd be somebody that would have took that route, but no one. I digress. We are here. Rip City Steps says the Oilers' power play has been the most entertaining thing to watch in the NHL for 5 years. Like, what are we talking about here? Ken says, here's how you tweaked. I think he meant tweak. Here's how you tweak the PP without changing personnel. If the first unit is listless and lifeless on the first PP opportunity Tuesday, on the next PP, you start the second unit. It's been said the only way coaches can affect the game is with ice time. Coach Nobby benched Leon briefly last week, and he ended up scoring the winning goal in overtime. Imagine the message that would send to the big boys if the second unit actually scores.
And I believe he did that last year, but not often. And there might have been a time they had a long shift right before the power play. That I would be fine with. I wouldn't change the personnel, necessarily on the first power play unit yet. But if they, again, it depends how you fail. Like if you don't score and you have 7 scoring chances, okay. But if they're, to me, I look at the power play unit. If they're struggling to enter the zone or fumbling passes, then you might say, okay, you're not sharp. Start PP2.
Well, I think that has to come from a willingness from Knobloch too, and from what I've heard through the clips that we've played on this show, there is not that much willingness yet to make that change to the second unit power play.
I have a limerick.
Oh, I'm working on one.
The Oilers have a play of power that causes worry with each passing hour. It can't connect. Oh, darn it to heck. It has the fans bothered and dour.
Oh, mine is about the same topic. Lo and behold, who would have thunk?
You're not quite done yet?
I got one more line. Do you want me to? Hey, Kate, you come up with this line on the fly. My final line to my limerick.
Can I read the big ukes?
Sure. Yes, absolutely.
The Oilers faced Dallas with woe in a game that was tough, oh so slow. With Carolina in sight, they'll regroup for a fight, hoping to turn things around. Let's go! He's got a bunch of O's.
Okay, so you have to come up with the final line. The Oilers' power play is struggling, putting the devoted fan base through suffering. The nasty chat is spicy. The overall play somewhat dicey.
Perhaps they need wizards and not muggling.
Oh, he did it again!
Isn't that what they called the humans in Harry Potter?
Muggles? I've never seen the movie.
I think that's what they called them. I read the first Harry Potter book. You can confirm, Coop? The humans are muggles in Harry Potter?
Yeah, they call the muggles.
Confirm. Someone confirm now.
They're half bred. One of them is they're like mutts basically.
A muggle is half human, half wizard?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. Anyway,
Zach, who do we have on the
Jesse?
line?
Jesse, potato salad Jesse.
All right, potato salad Jesse has qualified for the flyaway to LA, presented by the 780. Jesse, how do you feel about qualifying?
I feel fantastic. Thank you guys very much.
What have you been up to today?
I was at work, and I'm actually unfortunately going to go visit my dad in the hospital, but he'll be in good spirits, and he'll be happy to hear that I qualified for the trip, so I got some good news to tell him.
Okay, well, thanks for sharing that. Give your dad all the best from us. Okay, I'm going to ask you a random question, but if you were listening earlier, you'll understand. Are you a welder?
Really, no, actually, from what I was hearing going on in the chat there. Yeah, no, I am not. 8-track estimator is what I am.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right. What did you watch on the weekend? Did you watch Oilers, any NFL or the F1? What were you into? Anything?
I watched a little bit of F1 yesterday, and then, I definitely did catch the Stars game, and then I watched Tennessee take out Alabama.
Yeah, I watched the end of that game. I didn't watch F1. Did you know Joaquin Gage is like massive into F1 the last few years?
Yeah, that's right, actually. And honestly, I work with some guys. They were down there. It's becoming a big thing, so they were taking some clients down. So I was kind of had to pique my interest a little bit. That was really the first time I ever kind of tuned in. But yeah, it was kind of neat to see.
Are you a Tennessee Volunteer fan or an Alabama Crimson Tide fan?
You know, my dad actually got me a Crimson Tide shirt when he was down there, probably back in junior high, which still fits me, believe it or not. But I am a Texas Longhorns fan because, long story short, I didn't realize that Darryl Royal was the guy that coached in Mississippi State and told Jackie Parker that he should come up to Edmonton.
That's right.
And then he went back to Mississippi State and then went to the University of Texas and became their long-term head coach. And when I found that out, I kind of just sealed the deal for me, so I'm a Longhorns fan.
Okay, well, you watched the end of that game in Alabama and Tennessee with the flag that got picked up that after wasn't that crazy?
Yes, no, that was like whole. But the only thing about the end of the game that made me sad is that the security guards didn't let him take this goalpost out of the stadium.
Right. So they threw a flag on pass interference, which would have cost them the game. Tennessee fans start throwing every piece of litter that they can find onto the field of play. Then after they go and review it and say, actually, no, we're picking up the flag in Tennessee.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's like, so apparently if you litter enough stuff onto the field, then you just turn back a call. So who knows? I guess maybe we got to start doing that in Edmonton. Hopefully, well, actually, no, we shouldn't. But.
No, careful, Jesse. People will think, oh, Jesse
Please
said it.
don't,
Okay. Hey, well, first of all, thanks for listening to Edmonton Sports Talk. Glad you're qualified. So you got to listen on the morning of the 29th when Dustin's on, and we're going to give the trip away then. But all the best to your dad. Please wish him well from us.
Yeah, thank you. That means a lot. I really do appreciate that. And thanks for giving me the call. And yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing on the 29th, and hopefully I hear my name.
Right on. That's Jesse checking in, the EST Flyway to LA. Quickly, I know you have more stuff you want to get to, but I'm on one of my minor tangent here.
Give her.
Chris Brazel II for Tennessee. I was watching that game. I was like, I wonder if.
Oh, really?
Remember Brazel was with the Esks in 02 and 03?
Of course.
He wasn't here for a lot, and I think he bounced around the NFL a little bit. So that is Chris Brazel's son.
Really?
Playing for Tennessee. Yeah.
Another connection to Tennessee, former Golden Bear, Tyler Henry, who is a standout at U of A, is the strength and conditioning trainer with the Tennessee Volunteers football team.
No way. We should get him on the show.
We should. I could do that.
And then Jesse cheers for Texas, and they got upset by Georgia, right?
I don't know if you'd say that's an upset.
Well, wasn't Texas number 1 going in?
Yeah.
But it's close, I guess.
Georgia's Georgia.
And Texas is the team that has
Arch Manning.
Yeah. But that, is it Ewers or Ewers?
Quinn Ewers.
Ewers. That is.
He's the starter.
And I saw a commercial with him, because now they can do commercials, right? Because of all the likeness stuff. That he's a cop. And the cop's like, we got to call in for backup. And he's like, we don't need backup. I don't need a backup. In reference to, so Ewers starts, but Manning plays a lot.
Ewers was injured, and Manning came in and started.
Oh, that
played
was the
well.
thing. Okay,
got him a win, but they went back to Ewers, which they should. He's good.
Okay. All right. You're doing more.
Well,
texts and stuff on the power play.
Yeah.
Or are you?
Corey B just got into the nasty chat. Says, I just got here as a welder myself. What's the welding talk? And then Rip City Step is legendary. The welders are just saying it's really easy for them to get taken off the number 1 power play at their work. God bless this show.
Yeah, you're right. I don't understand the welding world.
No.
I was making just more a comment about that I do think in life some people are afforded a bad day more than others.
Yeah.
But I understand with welding, perhaps you can't have a bad day. I'm sorry, everybody.
The playbook comes in and says, afternoon, fellas, the biggest problem with the PP is the lack of shots from Bouchard. When he is shooting, it prevents the top forward from dropping into the slot where they can take away the lane from Nuge to Dry or Connor to Dry. What say you, Reid?
Yes, that would be my biggest criticism of the power play, is that I think Bouchard just needs to blast away. Yeah. And like we've talked about, create collateral damage, break a stick, have something. And unfortunately, he hit Hyman. Was that the Philly game?
Yeah.
And Hyman had to leave the ice for a while. So I know you don't want to hit your own guy. But I would say that would be one of my biggest criticisms of the Oilers' attack in general, is that Bouchard hasn't unloaded enough. Power play on 5-on-5 for me personally. So yeah, with a power play, that's what I would say if I could coach the power play. Saying that with a wink, obviously. Get a shot, have the rebound go wherever. And Nuge even said today, then you just start playing road hockey. If the Oilers are running around to get to a rebound, then so is the offensive team, and so is the defending team. Pardon me, and that favors the Oilers, I think.
Absolutely. A couple more here. Rob said, oh my gosh, people are losing their minds already. It's only game 6. I agree with you, Reid. The Oilers had 7 players out of 7 new players added. It's not going to happen all of a sudden. And Library Pat says they need to get out of the slump. So any and all ideas are worth considering. I just can't imagine them running a version of the power play without Draisaitl or Bush or Nuge, to be honest. The only replacement I can see them trying is Hyman out, because they've got other players who can do the net front muck-it-up job. That comes in from Library Pat. So thank you for all of you who are chiming in. And you know what? It is, we've talked about this in the break a couple times here. Just passion's great. Passion from a sports fan base is great, because sports gives you that outlet, right? It has nothing to do with your real life. It has nothing to do with, maybe you got this issue or this issue. I mean, shoot, that fella just called in and said he's on his way to see his dad in the hospital.
Yep.
Right? But sports does give you an avenue to get very passionate about things, and we are here for all of that. So thank you for everybody for chiming in. Where are we, Reid, Rick? We are at 90. We are in definite striking distance of hitting our goal of achieving chocolate chips for our chocolate chip cookies. I just don't know that Dustin's going to have all the proper ingredients for these chocolate chip cookies, but to be determined.
Boy, I've really upset Smitty the welder. I've really upset Smitty. Did I meet Smitty? Was he at the bash or at
Zach?
the Estes?
No, I don't know. But
I'm going to have to give Smitty a warm hug the next time I see him.
I think he'd like that. I think everybody would like that.
I think Smitty specifically wants me to hug him. Yeah, I think specifically.
Everybody can use a hug, Reid. The Oilers are 2-4.
Yeah,
right?
They'll probably get better.
I believe they will.
Corey B's having some fun with people, too, in the nasty chat. That's fun. All right, 780-218-9999. Let's fire a Coob. We fire the Nuge clip now? So I actually these are answers to separate questions, but I butted them together because they're kind of just both comments on the power play. So here's Nugent Hopkins on the Oilers power play.
I mean, it's just about sticking with it, obviously, shooting the puck a little more and winning battles. I thought we've done some really good things on the power play the last couple games, and it hasn't gone. But obviously, you want to break through and help the team out produce, and we take a lot of pride in that. So we'll try to be sharpen up and make sure that we're working. Oh, I mean, I think at different times throughout the season, we've definitely gone through stretches like this. I mean, even at the start last season, our power wasn't where we wanted it to be, and it's about sticking with it and trusting, but also just upping the work rate and thinking of it as more of 5-on-5. You just got to get pucks back, and you got to make plays when they're there. And teams obviously, they adjust to what we've done over the years, so they're coming at us hard right now, but we got to find ways to break that down.
I guess the thing I'm hearing is execution. And I know the fans are probably like, well, that's just one of the overused words that I had a list of a few weeks ago. But, it's to execute. Win a face-off, make a quick shot, get a rebound, take a slap shot. Actually, the one play I liked, I think it was in the second period. It wasn't a cross-ice pass. It came from almost behind the net to Nuge by the face-off dot. So it wasn't a cross-body one-timer, but he just slapped it. And I was like, good. Try to get something through with a hard shot. Nuge doesn't do that a lot. I was glad he tried that play.
What, like pucks on net?
Yes, quick slap shot on a power play.
What is that you're talking about? I've heard of it. I've heard it on Sports Center.
That's funny. We got to do...
just hang on. The welding community is in full support of you, Reid. I just want to read some...
I don't know if they are.
Smitty the welder. And Smitty the welder, we love you listening, obviously. All of you. It's fun to have fun
I'm bugging
sometimes.
Smitty the welder to some extent. I just want Smitty the welder to feel good about life. He probably does.
He says, no, I wasn't. I love your show, Reid. To which Reid said, Smitty the welder, I'm hugging you either way, dude.
Oh, yeah, he's getting a hug.
And then Norm in the Combine says, welders don't hug,
I'm
Reid.
also going to hug Norm. I'm going to hug all welders.
This is so much love that's pouring through the nasty chat right now.
And I hope people understand, I don't know how the welding got into it, but I'm not, making fun of welders. I just didn't realize we had that many welders. And as I pointed out, I'm the least anything to do with building, welding, constructing.
I don't want you near a welder.
No, I would be probably deceased if I tried to weld. And I'm not joking.
Maybe tomorrow we should
so that's
have
why
welder.
If I meet a welder who's working and somebody says, okay, That's Reid from Edmonton Sports Talk. I'll give you 5 minutes. You can either teach Reid how to weld or just give him a hug. Choose the hug.
Choose love.
Choose the hug.
Choose love. Maybe tomorrow's show should be Welder Appreciation Day.
I think every day could be that.
Yeah, I think so. We could bring in some welding.
Did I meet Smitty? I don't know.
He says no. He
said no. I didn't see that. Okay. Well, we'll be hugging soon. Does Norm in a combine weld while he's inside the combine?
I think that would be dangerous.
I used to joke with Norm when I was at Inside Sports that he lived in the combine and he was always in the combine. So when I met him, I'm like, "You're not in the combine. What's going on?"
Yeah, it is weird to see him in person because it's like, why aren't you doing something?
I thought he was going to come to the Nasty Chat and just sit in the combine the entire time.
I think, and Norm, you could correct me, but I think combine days are over, or they should be. It's, I know harvest got drawn out longer than most would have expected,
but I would think,
with the wet weather. But I'm pretty sure everything should be wrapped up here pretty quick. So that means that the combine crew are going to be seeing Tommy down at Hudson's a lot more now. At Hudson's Bourbon and White Ave. Always there.
All right.
Great crowd.
We should do a break. We got fired up. We got our top 3. We got the sports update with the Coupe for Wheelers RV.
Forward Sam O'Reilly has signed a 3-year entry-level deal with the Edmonton Oilers, and O'Reilly has 5 points in 7 games for the London Knights this season after getting drafted 32nd overall this summer. In Toronto, it's the Maple Leafs and Lightning in the lone NHL game with the Oilers back in action tomorrow. And down south, the Raiders have signed Desmond Ridder from the Cardinals practice squad, with Aiden O'Connell hitting the IR with a broken finger. And there's some unfortunate news for the 49ers as Christian McCaffrey is questionable for Sunday's game against the Cowboys, and coach Kyle Shanahan says he has a better chance to come back after the team's bye. Also, Brandon Ayuk injured his right knee, tearing his ACL and MCL, taking him away from the game for the rest of the season. And during that game as well, Deebo Samuel was struggling with some form of pneumonia and is in the hospital. Samuel had some fluid in his lungs and was struggling to breathe in the game Sunday. There is no timeline for Deebo Samuel's return. It's a Monday night doubleheader tonight. The Ravens kicking off against the Bucs, and the Chargers meeting the Cardinals, where Lieutenant Eric will be hanging down at the Century Casino Sports Bar and Lounge on Fort Road for both of those games. And the Blue Jays have hired David Popkins as their new hitting coach. Popkins spent the last 3 years with the Minnesota Twins and will be entering his 4th season coaching in the big leagues. This sports update has been brought to you by Wheelers RV and Boat Storage, conveniently located 5 minutes east of St. Albert. Wheelers RV is your safe and secure place to store your RV, boat, or whatever it is you want to store. Visit them at WheelersRVStorage.com to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get one free. Go to WheelersRVStorage.com today and get your storage needs taken care of. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues after these messages. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Okay. I was lost in thought there.
Does this thing work?
Well, no, I got to get Jay some info here that'll help with his next segment here. As we're going to do, hang on. We're going to do Fired Up. It's a new segment to the show. It debuted last week for Gemco Fireplaces, proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years, the authorized dealer for Napoleon Fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon Fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need available at Gemco, 9281 50th Street. Yes, indeed, it is fired up for Gemco. Jay, are you okay to talk about this? Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. There's nothing funny about this.
It's a sensitive subject. So, for those that don't know or haven't been following closely, the Canada West football this season has been filled with drama. Our dear Golden Bears are struggling for their playoff lives and now no longer control their own destiny. But the way in which they got there makes me fired up.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm fired up about this game that happened last Saturday down at Footfield. The number 9 team in the country, the Bisons, who had come into this game with one loss on the year, they erased a 26-point second half deficit and went in to tie the game at 30-all, pushed it to overtime. Golden Bears get the ball first, and this is college style.
Shootout.
So you start
like
on the 35
in,
and the Golden Bears went down and stuffed it in. Touchdown. Kick the extra point. They are up 37-0. The defense needs to stop. And I will say that again. The defense needs to stop the Bisons, which they had a hard time doing, particularly in the fourth quarter. They do not, as the Bisons did all game, they ran the ball down their throats. They finished that game with 312 rushing yards, Reid. 559 total yards did Manitoba. Manitoba punches it in. Now, I'll throw you back to
the exact week.
Saturday,
yeah.
September 14th.
Okay, thank you.
It does matter, Reid. In Manitoba, the Bears tie the game on the last play of the game. They tie the game with Manitoba at 20, or it was 23-24. So they could kick an extra point and go for the tie to push it to overtime. This was in Manitoba. Alberta decides to go for 2. They miss it. They lose that game 24-23. Flashback to this last Saturday. Manitoba drives it down, gets the overtime touchdown, goes for 2 for the win. And lo and behold, they get it. Alberta loses 37-38. Alberta is no longer in control of their own destiny. They are at Regina this Friday at 7 p.m. But they also need the Dinos to lose to Saskatchewan, and then they would get into the playoffs, at which point they would travel most likely, well, almost certainly, to Manitoba.
Manitoba again. Who's, yeah.
Hey, if I'm Manitoba, I don't want to see the Bears again.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
They have had their number. They've just gotten away by the hair on their chinny chin.
You know, it's frustrating. I mean, when the show debuted, we were so excited about the Bears season. They were really good last year, barely missed out on the Canada West title, started the year with a road win at UBC, and then as we talked about, the game against Calgary, they lose and injuries mount, and they're leading Manitoba 34, 26-point lead in the third quarter, and they lost by a point in overtime. And I mean, they had I was talking to Mooner about it today because him and Stoff had it online, in Dallas. Manitoba makes a 3rd and 11 on the final drive in regulation time that led to a tying field goal. And I was texting with someone who was at the game, and they said as soon as Manitoba got it to 30-17, I knew the Bears were going to lose.
Right.
Like, it's just been that type of season, that feel, that ability to take a punch. And somebody else said, like, the Bears couldn't. I think they had one first down in the fourth quarter.
They couldn't stop
I mean, with that
it.
big a lead, even if you have a drive that gets 4 or 5 first downs and then you punt, would take 4 or 5 minutes off the clock. But Manitoba just had the ball the entire time.
They couldn't stop them. They couldn't physically stop them. From the first half to the second half, it was night and day.
Yeah.
It was gross, but go get the win in Regina.
No, they did beat Regina by 24 points earlier this season. Regina's not good either. Saskatchewan could very well beat Calgary. So at least hopefully the Bears get in and salvage a playoff appearance out of this season.
Well, Saskatchewan wants to beat Calgary. There is importance to that game as well as far as the standings would go if other things don't go their way. And it is a Friday night game for the Bears.
Right.
So they're going to, and Regina's 0, they've lost their last 5. They came out 2-0, they're now 0-5.
Yeah. And I think Sask could still get home field over UBC.
Yes.
If they win in UBC. So, yeah, a lot of combinations there, but just a devastating loss for the Golden Bears, not just to lose, but to blow that lead. I will be fired up about the U of A as well, but I'm going to be fired up about the Golden Bears hockey team. On Friday, they won 5-2 over Saskatchewan. I didn't go to that game, but I went to Saturday's game. They won 5-2 again. First of all, Sean Chagall, who we had on the show on Thursday, he's a good player. He had 4 assists on Friday. He scored a one-timer goal on the power play in the third period on Saturday. And I was so excited I texted you when you were out having a nice time with your wife. And you're probably like, "What, Wilkins? Leave me alone." Totally invested and involved in a board battle, kept the puck alive inside the Saskatchewan blue line, got it to Brett Hyland at the top of the circle, and Hyland had a hat trick on Friday and then just scored a laser beam on Saturday over the goalie's shoulder to extend the Bears' lead. So they won that game 5-2 as well. We had Marc Lajoie on the show, the big defenseman from the Oil Kings. He had a good game. Mason Ward was the first star of the game. Mason Ward is the son of Lance Ward, who is from Lloydminster and played in the NHL. So I used to interview Lance all the time. So I met Mason after the game, who I may have met when he was a baby, because I remember doing a story with Lance when he'd just had a kid about 20 years ago. I had a brief chat with Lance as well. Hadn't seen him in a while. So the Bears are 6-0 now. They have not played Calgary. They have not played UBC. And they got this weird divisional format now in Canada West. And by the way, they're going to change the divisions every year, so everybody's with. Like, that's something I hate about university sports. Like, just it doesn't have to be equal for everybody all the time. Like, you can celebrate the better schools. But anyway, 6-0 is 6-0, and pretty exciting. Some of the new players the Bears have, and building on some of the good offensive players they've had for the last few years, like the Hall brothers and Tyler Prezuzzo and all those types of players. So I was fired up about that. Good and always fun to see Bears in Saskatchewan. The crowd wasn't huge. A couple people there said there was actually a bigger crowd on Friday, but still enthusiastic. Sask always brings some fans as well, and there always seems to be they don't fight in Canada West, obviously, but there always seems to be a dust-up or two after the whistle. So fun, intense environment, and Golden Bears got a good hockey team. So hopefully they can push for it in Canada West this year.
Now the ultimate test is, Maybe not.
What?
The Dinos aren't as strong this year?
What I was told before the season was that the Dinos and UBC should be the best in Canada West hockey.
Mount Royal's 6-0.
Mount Royal's had a good program as well. So the divisions, and UBC and
Calgary are
both 2-3-1. And they did the division. So Mount Royal, Calgary, UBC, and Trinity Western are in a division. Alberta, Sask, McEwen, Manitoba, and Regina are in a division. So Sask actually comes here again next month for a couple of weekend games, and then the Alberta's in Saskatoon next weekend. Mount Royal's had a good program as well. Again, based on the preseason stuff, and we'll see how it goes. I still think Calgary and UBC will be good, but clearly Mount Royal is turning some heads early on. But I think the Bears got a good team. The Bears, to me, and they usually have a little good offensive players, but to me they look like they have more firepower than they have the last couple of years, which is encouraging.
Very encouraging.
So I'm fired up about that. I'm fired up about a positive U of A story.
Well, it's
You're
a Reid
fired
Wilkins
up about
show.
a heartbreaker.
It's Reid Wilkins show bump. That's what I said on Saturday.
From Chagall. He's
From
good.
Chagall.
He's good. He's legit good. And I think
we should have him on like once every couple of weeks.
I'd like to have Highland on. He's an Edmonton kid.
That Chagall was just great and great fella to talk to.
He was a great interview. And then, I texted you Friday night when I got the game report because I wasn't able to go Friday. I was like, 4 assists for the guy we interviewed. And then he was good again on Saturday. And they're splitting the goalies right so far with Kruger and Palmer. So yeah, it was a fun game. Bears had control of it. Norman a combine. So the Texans being up 22 on the Chiefs and losing isn't the worst collapse in history. But
well, I'll tell you, if you want to talk football here before we go to break, Kansas City is only the second team to start 6-0 after winning 2 straight Super Bowls. The other team was the 1990 49ers.
Well, not a lot of teams have won 2 straight Super Bowls either, I guess, too.
Yeah,
right?
and nobody's
the
won the
Steelers did
third.
it twice.
Yeah.
Niners did it. Cowboys did it. And that's it, right?
And
the
Josh,
Patriots won 2 in a row.
did, yeah. That Josh Allen stat is incredible. 12, what is he at? 12 plus touchdowns. I think he's at 12 touchdowns. 0 interceptions.
He's not thrown a pick, eh?
He has not thrown an interception.
Did you watch any of the Steelers and the Jets?
Yeah.
So did you see that one
Unfortunately,
interception?
I did.
The Steeler guy jumped, and I don't think he tipped it, but it must have thrown the Jets receiver off, and it hit the Jets receiver on the... I can't remember all their names. It wasn't Lazard.
Garrett
I think
Wilson.
It was Wilson, yeah.
Yeah.
And it bounced back. Was it Beanie?
Yeah, just awful.
Beanie that got the interception.
I don't even know that he tipped it, but it was just, I think Garrett Wilson's anticipation of the tip threw his handwork off. Just like...
And like it was so... Like
That's
the first quarter and a half, I'm thinking, oh man, the Jets are good. Like Rodgers is good. They must have got a bump from the coaching change. And then the last 2.5 quarters, it's like, well, the Jets are basically doing nothing.
Well, the Jets are doing Jet things. That's
How's Josh doing?
Josh who?
Clausen.
Oh, he's probably struggling. It was their Super Bowl pick, which
What if it's the Seahawks and the Commanders in the NFC Championship game? That'd be fun for us.
That'd be great.
I don't know if the Seahawks are quite that good, but they played
I don't
well.
know if the Commanders are that good either.
Well, the Seahawks, I thought, played well in Atlanta, and I also thought the Falcons had an off game. But you got to win.
Well, you're going to have off games, much like Purdy did. 3 interceptions yesterday. Lost Ayuk. Don't have McCaffrey. Deebo Samuel's injured. This is not looking good for the San Francisco 49ers.
Well, that's the thing. Like that division is possibly there for the Hawks if they... Could you win it with 9 or 10 wins? Maybe 10-7. Maybe.
I mean, the cream of the crop in the NFC is the Detroit Lions, and I mean that was the big game this weekend was the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings, and it looked good for the Vikings early, but then the Lions kicked it in. Jared Goff, talk about MVP, 22 of 25, 280 yards, 2 TDs, 0 interceptions. I mean, I hate to say it, but Dusty's team's looking pretty good. And I wouldn't mind if they won because I picked them as a Super Bowl winner.
Well, that's you had Lions over Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I had Chiefs over Lions. We're both looking smart right now. C-Run says, is there anything other than injuries in the Chiefs' way from going 16-0? Yeah, I don't. Well, I remember they play 17 now. So
and I don't get how the Chiefs keep doing it. Like, it's not like they're playing great football.
What about just figure it out, though? What do I always say, right? Just figure it out.
They just have a way of getting it done, and it quite honestly annoys me sometimes.
Right. And that's the thing about the Golden Bears football team this season. They've become find a way not to do it, right? Whereas other teams find out a way to do it.
I got it. Nash in Whitecourt writes into the EST inbox. I'll tell you what I'm fired up about. I bought a bag of licorice all sorts, and there wasn't one jelly button in the whole bag. What a load of hippy-dippy baloney.
That's awful. That is sad.
All sorts. My gosh, people still eat those. Actually, I think my wife likes all sorts.
All right. 780-218-9999.
Yeah, what do you got? They're great.
Maybe I'm confusing what all sorts are. I'm going to Google this.
It's like that
before.
variety. I don't eat them.
Yes. The one that's purple.
It's like a bunch of little
black
gaming pieces. That's what it reminds me of when I buy a new game. It's like, oh, what's this?
You could use them as Monopoly pieces.
I could use them to track all my resource markers on the games I play. All right, you guys are fun. What was I going to say? Somebody else said, we're over 100 likes on YouTube, so we get our first ingredient from Dustin to bake chocolate chip cookies later on in the week. We will have my top 3 for food sausage coming up. Here's the Coob with the sports update.
The Edmonton Oilers have signed 32nd overall pick Sam O'Reilly to a 3-year entry-level contract. The 18-year-old forward has 5 points in 7 games this season for the London Knights. Just one game with the Lightning and Maple Leafs facing off in just a moment, while over in the NFL, 49ers Deebo Samuel is in the hospital with pneumonia and battled through the ailment during Sunday's game. Deebo Samuel's current return date is not determined. Tristan McCaffrey for San Francisco is also questionable for this week's game, with head coach Kyle Shanahan saying that McCaffrey has a better chance to come back after the team's bye week. It's Ravens-Buccaneers opening up the Monday night doubleheader at 6:15 before the Chargers take on the Cardinals. And Lieutenant Eric will be down at the Centric Casino Sports Bar and Lounge for that one. He's definitely setting up right as we're on air here. And the Blue Jays have hired David Popkins as their new hitting coach. Popkins spent the last 3 years with the Minnesota Twins and will be entering his 4th season coaching in the big leagues. The Reid Wilkins Show comes back just after the break. I'm Zachary Kubish, keeping you up to date.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
A&W has a deal for you. What's better than one A&W Mama Burger made with a perfectly seasoned grass-fed beef patty topped with pickles, a slice of onion, ketchup, mustard, and teen sauce served on a toasted sesame seed bun? 2 Mama Burgers for only $9.99. You can enjoy 2 of these delicious, mouth-watering Mama Burgers for only $9.99 at participating A&W restaurants in Edmonton, St. Albert, Sherwood Park, and Devon. What a deal! And to make it even more convenient for you, most A&W drive-thrus are open 24 hours.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the association, Formula One, soccer, golf, oh sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
Lost my balance.
We were close, Reid. We were close.
I was trying to rebound. My continued quest, like Star Trek, my ongoing quest to tip in a rebound on the plastic hoop at Edmonton Sports Talk.
We'll get there one day.
I was close today, and I actually made an athletic maneuver to stretch and tip one, and I fell and did a full roll on the ground.
Yes. No HR needs to be reported on this.
No, I'm not injured.
Thankfully.
I'm not even embarrassed, even though it probably, like, how bad did it look?
It looks surprisingly athletic.
That's great. Thanks, Jay, for your support. Hey, thanks, everybody, for supporting the show. Fun chat today. A lot of passion about the Oilers, as I expected, which is good. It is time for the top 3 for Fuge sausage, the best sausages you will ever eat. Locally made and packed full of flavor. Order online or visit them in store, 6736 99th Street. Take advantage of their Edmonton Sports Talk discount. Yes, that's right. Get 10% off your order by entering the online code EST or just mention EST in the store. They have free delivery in Edmonton on orders over $100, as Food Sausage says. You can't beat our meat. So, last week, I can't remember what day it was, we were talking about Top Gun and Tom Cruise movies and things like that, and I said I didn't really like the first Top Gun that much, but I haven't seen Top Gun Maverick. So on Friday night, I watched Top Gun Maverick. Have you seen it?
Yes.
It's good.
Great.
It's a story of guilt and redemption and fatherhood.
Yep.
With some cool plane stuff.
But it's got a storyline. There's a purpose.
It does have a story, and it's the stuff with Cruise's character and the Miles Teller, Rooster.
That was the son
is the son of Goose.
Oh, spoiler alert!
Yes, I mean I think people know where it's going. It was good. Like, it kept it moving. The action was good. I thought the patter and the dialogue for the most part was pretty good, and it's very, you're not good enough. I'm good enough, but like in a more intelligent, sort of interesting way. So I thought it was like a good, enjoyable. It knew what it was. It wasn't trying to set new heights for the emotional exploration of the human condition.
I didn't
but it did enough.
I didn't see the Russian part of it being that big of a storyline in the movie.
What Russian part?
When they get onto the Russian base and
they never identify the country. Did you notice that?
Okay,
they never identify. Russian. Well, I thought it was supposed to be Middle Eastern. I think it was, or supposed to be some rogue faction, but they never really identify the enemy other than the enemy. But I like how they raise the stakes. Okay, well, we got to go in through the valley. Oh no, now we got to go in and dive down and climb out like no one's ever climbed before. Oh, Maverick, now you're doing it. Oh, I like the ending where they gave Maverick and Rooster their own little moment together to help each other and save each other. Pretty well done.
Now, where did you watch it? Just at home? At the Reid Wilkins Theater?
I watched with my dad.
At your parents'
At my
house?
parents, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't have like surround sound in our house, but like when we watched it, like we dimmed the lights and put on
nice.
the sound as best we could, and it vibrates.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like the cinematography or the scenes, the fight scenes, and the are just incredible.
Yeah. Oh, it was well put together. It was a fun movie. So along those lines, for Food Sausages, my top 3 Tom Cruise movies. Okay, I have not seen every single Tom Cruise movie, but I looked through the list. I've seen probably 2/3, if not 80%. Going back a long way, he's obviously been in some very big movies along the way. I will give honorable mention to Eyes Wide Shut because I was a big Stanley Kubrick fan. And I think he and his then wife, Nicole Kidman, took some chances in that film. And I think it's a pretty good movie, though I understand that it's not for everybody. Just the content and the storytelling, and that it's not a traditional Tom Cruise type of movie. But I'll give Eyes Wide Shut an honorable mention. There was a lot to consider. I mean, Tom Cruise, he's been in, I think, a few great movies. I think he's been in a lot of good or very good movies. But I think I have to put A Few Good Men on this list. And maybe some people would say, that's more Nicholson's movie. I don't know. They're both in it. They're both big in it. They share an incredible scene together. And I know Nicholson kind of has the signature line in that scene. But it's a back and forth with Cruise. I mean, you can go and watch it on YouTube, which I've done a few times. And it's just well put together. It's a good movie. I mean, I was talking about the dialogue in Top Gun Maverick. Like Few Good Men has great dialogue and back and forth and raising the stakes. And
what's the line?
You can't handle the truth.
Come on, you could do better than that.
You can't handle the truth.
Yes.
You want me on that wall. You need me on that wall. That's a bad Nicholson. I didn't even know what voice I was doing.
the truth.
Oh, there it is.
There it
Yeah.
is.
Oh, I think that sounded exactly like me.
I think that's good. Kudos, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. So I put A Few Good Men in my list. You know, I was looking at his movies, and again, like, you know, Interview with the Vampire, Jerry Maguire obviously was big. Minority Report was big. But I thought he's really made the Mission Impossible franchise his own. Like, the first Mission Impossible goes back to 96. Yes. They're still cranking them out. The 8th one's coming out in 2025. I think most of them are at least good.
I got one that I separated.
And I separated one as well. And I separated because of one particular scene, in fact, because I just think it's a great action scene with tension, but yet a little bit of silliness, but fun, but, you know, in a good way. And that's Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And it's specifically because of the scene when they're climbing that large tower in Singapore or Hong Kong or wherever they are, and he's using the gloves that allow him to stick to the surface, and then they start losing battery power, and he has to get into the window, and then he gets in, and the one glove is still stuck there, and then as he gets in, you see it slide down and fall off as it runs out of battery. I thought that was a great scene. I think most of those movies are pretty fun. You know, the story and the characters maybe are better in some than others, but I just thought Mission Impossible was a fun action movie that, you know, didn't quite take itself to, like, it, you know, it was, they try to have serious stuff in it, but that one just sort of was right at the right balance between fun and serious. So I'm putting Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol on there.
Okay.
What's your MI movie?
Mission Impossible 2.
Was that the one with Anthony Hopkins?
No, that's the one with, I looked your name up here, Thandie Newton.
Oh, Thandie Newton.
Thandie Newton. It's where they have the serum that she has to get before she dies.
Oh, see, yeah, maybe I'd put, John Woo directed that one, who's a famous action movie director.
And that was an incredible motorbike scene in
okay.
MI2. And I think that's the one with the Limp Bizkit song.
See, I'll have to watch that one again. I probably, again, with me, some of these movies I can't remember all. I thought Anthony Hopkins was in one of them. I must be wrong. I thought Anthony Hopkins had an appearance. Oh, yes, Mission Impossible 2. Anthony Hopkins appears in an uncredited cameo as Mission Commander Swanbeck. So he's probably not in it very, very much.
Can't be.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll try to watch Mission Impossible 2 again.
Ethan and Naya. That's her name in the movie, is Naya.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Great movie.
Yeah, again, I don't think there's a bad one. I think maybe some are a little more...
Isn't that the one where he starts the movie out by climbing that mountain in Arizona or something, and he gets a call on top of it, and then the
No, I
music
think
starts?
that might be Ghost Protocol.
Is it? Is that the Metallica song? I always think of these as
that's
the
one of the newer ones, though. That's not...
No. This is an older one.
Oh, really? Okay, maybe
he gets
it is.
a call on his phone up top.
Somebody will know. Hopefully there's some MI expert out there. Rip City Step, yeah, Vanilla Sky. I like that one. VR Montenegro likes Days of Thunder #1. Yeah, I did. Matt Hyman, I feel like Rita's a Vanilla Sky fan. I did like Vanilla Sky quite a bit. And I love that scene with Good Vibrations when he runs up to the top of the building and is yelling for tech support. I think that has a great energy and editing to it. But I didn't pick. I didn't pick Vanilla Sky. I have to put in Edge of Tomorrow from 2014. I think that is a great science fiction movie. It has a great premise. I love time travel stuff, even though I know you can always pick apart the logic of it. I think the effects are good. I think his chemistry with Emily Blunt is good. I think it's a fun storyline with him having to relive the same day over and over again and figure it out. I remember reading a review where somebody said it's sort of like a video game, where you die, but you start the level over and you have to learn from it. And another thing I liked about it is there are a lot of movies that have a good science fiction premise, and that lasts about half the movie, and then it just becomes a regular action movie. Edge of Tomorrow has action, but the science fiction premise was very important right until the end. It didn't lose focus of the stuff with the aliens and the time travel and trying to change the past and
Which it
learn
easily
from your
could have.
which it easily could have. And to me, it's that's a movie we had. Remember we talked a few weeks ago. What is on TV that you would watch part of it? Edge of Tomorrow would be part of that for me. So I know sometimes within my top 3, I'm saying I'm not ranking them within the top 3, but I think Edge of Tomorrow would be my number 1 Tom Cruise movie.
I'm going to say what my other one would have been. I liked MI2, but then let's see if you can grab this one. My favorite author is John Grisham.
The Firm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Great
Again,
movie.
I don't remember it that well, but I do remember thinking it was a good movie.
Good movie. He's a great storyteller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a lot of his books adapted, I think they're mid to late 90s, didn't he?
Yeah, it wasn't the Pelican Brief one?
Yeah, I can't remember who was in that, but wasn't there one that that McConaughey and Bullock were in? Was that The Client?
Yeah.
Okay.
Client was a
Watched lot of
John
movies.
Grisham.
Fun fact, Tube Socks hasn't seen a Tom Cruise movie. I think he's being bugged by Spency 5 Centsy.
Runaway Jury?
Was Cruise in that?
No.
Oh, now we're doing
That's just
Grissom
another
movies.
Grisham.
We're meandering again.
We are.
Magnolia, that's a little more of an artsy movie, so to speak, but Tom Cruise was in that, had a very memorable role. He was in Born on the 4th of July. Rain Man, great movie. I know a lot of people like Days of Thunder. Color of Money, fun movie with, was that Newman he was with? You go back to The Outsiders he was in. Obviously, Risky Business and All the Right Moves both came out in 83, sort of started defining his career. A lot of people will pick Mission Impossible movies. I wasn't a huge fan of the Jack Reacher movie. I saw somebody put it in the Nasty Chat, and then he was in a second Jack Reacher film. I didn't watch that. Interesting career, and he does his own stunts. Like I was watching, something popped up on YouTube in one of the Mission Impossibles. It might have been Rogue Nation. He motorbikes off a cliff and parachutes. He did that, and apparently he did it 6 times to get the shot. And there was a scene in Top Gun Maverick. He's riding a motorbike, and my dad was like, "You think that's actually him?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." For Cruise, riding a motorbike is nothing. So, like him or not, incredible career. And I think for him to be a leading man and do do so many of his own stunts, and he's not. I think he's 60 now, isn't he? It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, the Pelican Brief had Julie Roberts, Denzel Washington, Stanley Tucci, John Hurd.
He's
Just a great
62.
movie.
He's 62.
Could have a John Grisham day.
We could do a John Grisham.
Those are
day.
some good
I hope
movies.
people like this top 3. I like
A
talking about
Time
movies
to
and
Kill.
stuff.
That was a John Grisham book. Very good.
I'll have to watch Mission Impossible 2 again. Maple syrup skid mark. Wow, that's quite the handle.
Wow.
Saying there's a big fight scene. Yeah, I would have to watch it. I'm at the point where I can tell you if I've watched a movie, and from working at Blockbuster, I could tell you the cover box and the poster. I remember that better than the content of some of the movies I saw 30 or 40 years ago.
Are people really thinking that one of his best roles was in The Outsiders, or are you just saying that because you had to watch it in junior high? Or read it?
I don't know what they mean. Yeah.
I don't know.
Big Uke, yeah, he broke his ankle jumping from doing a jump and doing a stunt jump. I remember, I saw an interview with him about that. It was insane. All right, goof ups. We spent too long on the Tom Cruise segment. Yeah, released yes, I shut it out, eyes wide shut. I did, for sure.
I said, I don't know if it was I meant what I said, but I thought somebody said it was inappropriate. I said fitting balls into tight spaces.
You did not mean it in any other way.
Coob?
Coob's good.
Yeah, some of the names I was saying, I didn't. I said Tungavaloa properly this time. One of the other sports update.
You just call him Tua.
Tungavailoa.
Hey, I got to do this, guys. We have been in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com is the website. Book your private consultation today. Zach Kubish doing a great job doing all the technical stuff and reading your sports updates. Game day tomorrow. We'll start our coverage at 6 a.m. with the Nielsen Show. We're here from 3 to 6. Reid Wilkins Show. That's me with Jay Milne. That's him. Enjoy Monday Night Football. Take care.
Get to know the winners. props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.